IMSA Radio and IMSA TV. Good to have your company, and we have it all for you coming up from Road Atlanta. Welcome along, everybody. Good to have your company if you are just joining us. We are live in sound and vision on IMSA Radio and IMSA TV. www.imsaradio.com. Hit the live video button and you can watch along with us with no blocks or breaks. 2.5 miles, 12 corners, action areas down the front straight to turn 1, overtake there if you're brave. It's very quick through turn 6 and turn 7. That gives you the run to turn 10A and B at the bottom of the hill. Overtaking manoeuvre down there is a little more straightforward. Use the draft over the top of the hill and down to turn 12, overtake down there, and you're very brave indeed. And it may end in some kind of problem for you. We've seen a few big accidents there down through the years. In the Hagler Global Broadcast Centre, on the start-finish line, it's Jeremy Shaw and John Hindhaugh. In the pit lane, Nick Damon and Shea Adam, who is watching a line of cars driving past her at pit out.
This is the wonderful feeling because it's the last time this year that a grid full of Michelin Pilot Challenge cars, GT4 and TCR, will roll out of the pit lane on their pace laps. We've got everybody rolling, everybody moving, and wait for it, everybody is out. Let's get this race going.
I think everybody is thinking that at the moment. Jeremy Shaw, the way things are, this could be very interesting indeed as the championships come to their denouement. We've got 2 hours of racing. Let's hope we get 2 hours of racing, because generally speaking, when we've had long green flag runs in the Michelin Pilot Challenge, that's really given us cracking events.
It has. We've also had quite a few incidents, particularly in sort of late season races, it seems like. So hopefully we're going to have a clean run here. The weather out there is kind of interesting. It's certainly cooler than it was, I think, earlier in the day. And it's sort of, there's a very, very light sort of a mist in the air, if you like. It's not. It certainly isn't raining.
62% humidity is what the official numbers said.
It's pretty chilly though. It's, you know, it doesn't feel that way.
It is saying, we've been told from Michelin that it's 20 Celsius in the air, which is 68 Fahrenheit, and 70 on the Fahrenheit 21 on the track. So that's as warm as it's been all week, actually, in terms of the track temperature. It was a bit sunny this morning, but Jeremy, you're right, it is a wee bit overcast.
Yeah, and certainly when I was walking up to have lunch half an hour ago or so ago, it was definitely there was little light sprinkles on my phone, so to speak, and on my clipboard. I was a bit worried about that, but it didn't rain properly, so all was well. But look, we've seen some fantastic racing here, and it's so close between all the manufacturers. And looking down the grid, the grid order: BMW, Porsche, Aston Martin, another Porsche, a couple of Mercedes, and a Toyota. And it's, you know, it is super tight in there. Then a BMW, and then, you know, it's fantastically close racing. All these different manufacturers, everybody pretty much has got a chance to win here, and it's really going to be down to who does the best job or who doesn't make any mistakes.
So the field, it will be led by Turner Motorsport, the BMW M4 GT4, Dylan McAvern on pole position with Tom Dyer, Carbon with Peregrine sitting alongside in the Porsche 718 GT4 RSCS. Then Aston Martin in the shape of Alan Brynjolfsson, good qualifying from him.
Yeah, very good
Volt Racing put together a good set of laps there. Hugh Plummer alongside him. Hugh Plummer want to go forward from there.
Well, that's his best qualifying ever this year, I think. So, you know, it's certainly a platform here for a good result for them. But for Brynjolfsson, I mean, you know, he's only been racing for, I guess 5 or 6 years now. It seems to have flown past, but certainly he doesn't have the same sort of experience as many of these other guys around him. And he's done a really good job to qualify in that 3rd position. It's the best ever qualifying, actually, for Alan. He's originally from Iceland, lives now in the Tampa area in Florida. And this Volt Racing team, the Aston Martin is run by Wright Motorsports these days. They oversee the running of this car. They've done a super job this season. They've been super consistent. Their 1 to poor finish came in the most recent round, unfortunately at VIR, where they were down outside the top 10 for the first time, actually outside the top 7 for the first time this season. So it's that consistency that's put it in this position in the championship. We've had just a 1 win, but 3 seconds, a third, and a fourth as well. So it's that consistency, John, isn't it, that wins championships?
2 cars on pole position in each of the classes. The BMW M4 in its last outing in its current form, and the Honda TCR in its last outing in its current form. We have a split start. Get ready to go racing. 120 minutes. It is the Fox Factory. 120. Great start to the line. Very even. Dylan McAvern and Tom Dyer were pretty much side by side. The BMW of Turner Motorsport into turn 1 has the right-hand side of the track, the inside. Now, is there going to be enough of an overlap for the Carbahn, Porsche and Tom Dyer to have a look through? There certainly is, and at the top of the hill, the lead has changed as the TCR cars are across the line. And down to the first corner, it looks like the Honda is holding on there to the lead, the white-blue car, as they go through with behind them the horde of Hyundais. Harry Gottsacker, Mark Wilkins going through in team order. A bit of shuffling around between the Brian Herter cars further back down the field, but already our GS cars are at turn number 6.
Yeah, what a picture-perfect start that was at the front of the field. I like the fact there was a little bit of gap between them.
Yeah.
They weren't absolutely on each other's bumper. Gives them a little bit more breathing space heading into turn 1. I like that, because all you can do at the start is either mess things up for yourself or for somebody else, quite frankly. So that was a really good start. Brilliant run there by Tom Dyer. Round up to the outside at turn 1, and he braved it around the outside under braking for turn 3 to take that lead for the Carbahn with Peregrine Racing Team. So really good effort by him. He leads this race from the pole to the Dylan McAvern.
Coming down to complete the first lap then. Across the line, just waiting for the timing to catch up. Dylan McAvern in second now. And there we are. Tom Dyer just showing in the lead now. So Dyer, McAvern, Hugh Plum ahead of Alan Brynjolfsson, so has moved up. Trevor Andrusko, FCP Euro, Jeff Mosing, Sean Quinlan. Hello to Colonel James Fullwood. Congratulations on your retirement. Thank you for your dedicated service over 30 years in the US Marine Corps. Thank you, sir. And hope you enjoy your trip out here to Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta today, supporting the Hyundais in TCR, I believe, along with many others. Quite a few of the Hyundai ends around the grounds here of Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, which is nice to see. Car corrals starting to fill up before tomorrow's big race. Start is under review. Normal. Sort of, yeah.
They always say that.
Standard operational procedure, SOP. What they're looking for is anyone who's got out of line before the start. Through then, Tom Dyer, the number 93, is coming up to the top of the hill, in fact, over the top of the hill at the moment. Battle is for 4th position between Alan Brynjolfsson and Trevor Andrusko. Aston Martin versus AMG, the bright yellow Volt car. You wouldn't lose that in the car park. And in behind then, another very distinctive livery, the metallic orange and black of the first of the Murillo racing cars of Jeff Mosing. In TCR, what a start, Jeremy, for Matt Pombo. He's parlayed that pole position advantage that he had into a second lead between himself and Harry Gottsacker and the rest of the Hyundais.
Yeah, you know, the Honda certainly works well these days. The Hyundais were slowed down a little bit through the balance performance a few races ago. They had to raise those cars by 15 millimeters. Generally, if you do a setup change on a prototype or an open wheel car, you're talking millimeters, or even probably less, possibly even less than that. They had to raise the car by 15 millimeters. So that really upset the aerodynamics on their cars, but you know, they've done their best, the best to overcome that and live with the rules as they are. You know, and the cars are competitive.
It's the TCR start, I'm being told, Jeremy, that is under review.
Yeah.
Now the pole sitter, oh, that's tight. It's the pole sitter they're looking at, I think, Matt Pombo. Does he move across the block before the start line, Jeremy? I think he might have.
He was a bit marginal, certainly, wasn't he? Yeah, here he comes in for a penalty. Change of lanes before start-finish line. Drive-through penalty for car number 73. That's the local driver, Matt Pombo. Really frustrating for him and that LA Honda World team. He's got to come in and serve a penalty. You know, he's been around this sport long enough. He kind of should know the rules, but I mean, the problem is, particularly with this right-hand corner here coming onto the front straightaway, the car tends to track
Drift
out in any case, and if there's no one alongside you, you think, oh, right, I can use that space. But, you know, it's easy to make that mistake, and just really unfortunate. I mean, if the car that started on the outside had kept pace with him, it wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah,
but
he'd have had something in his peripheral vision.
Really unlucky for Mark.
He was about a car's length away from being all right there. Meantime, then that leaves Dylan McAvern in the lead with Hugh Plum battling, with Ted Giovannis battling at the other end of the GS field, and has all of the Hyundais around him.
Yeah, and the quickest of the TCR cars are quicker than the slower GS contenders, particularly in the early stages with the lesser experienced drivers at the wheel of the GS cars. So some of those are slipping back into this horde of TCR cars, and they're going to go through and you know, have that battle amongst themselves, and hopefully not have those battles upset as they work their way around the GS cars. There's the white Hyundai Veloster of Rory van der Steur trying to make some moves in these early stages. He's up into the fourth position at the moment and battling hard in that Van der Steur racing car number 19. That's the older generation Hyundai Veloster in amongst all these Hyundai Elantra ends.
At IMSA Radio, if you would like to get in touch with us, that'll bring up your tweets in the Haggerty Global Broadcast Centre with Jeremy Shaw and John Hindhaugh on duty down in the pit lane for this first part of the race. Shay Adam and Nick Damon, and Nick will swap out for Andrew Marriott in the second half of this race. Andrew's actually alongside us here in the Haggerty Global Broadcast Centre, just taking in the first part of his shift and seeing what's going on, spotting the cars. So in TCR, Matt Pombo having departed, it's Mark Wilkins who's leading now from Rory van der Steur. In fact, that's changed again as the Hyundais are coming forward.
So another penalty about to be called too on car number 72. That is Kenny Murillo, who's called for an incident responsibility. An incident with car number 6.
There isn't a 6, I don't think.
72, so let's try and see who was he with on the charts. I'm quite sure, to be honest. Got me on that one.
There's a 66.
It was 96.
And there's not even a 60, is there? He's in
no,
the
probably the 66, I would think, because he had been behind David Brulé on the first lap or two, and then David sort of slipped back down the order somewhat, so I'm guessing that's what it was.
The crew are up on the wall for that car. Kenny's gone through.
I think he came in, didn't he?
Yeah, he's in and out, but these crew are bringing him back in. They've got a new tyre for him. So maybe that issue has caused slightly more problems than just the drive-through.
There is Trevor Andrusko making a move up into third position now. He got past Alan Brynjolfsson a couple of laps ago. Now he's also past Hugh Plum as well. So Trevor Andrusko, that FCP Euro Mercedes, the white and sort of light blue and black car. Really nice livery on that car. He moves up into third position now, then ahead of Hugh Plum, and then Alan Brynjolfsson and another Mercedes, Jeff Mosing, doing a nice job in car number 56. He was out for much of the season as a result of a non-racing accident
Been a few of those this year, haven't there?
They have actually, yeah. And his was on a boat dock, I think, in Texas. And so whether there's another beverage involved in that as well or not, maybe not. If not, Jeff, I apologise. But anyway, he was out of action for quite a while. Made his comeback last time out at VIR and was involved in an incident in the early stages of that race. So it wasn't a great weekend for him, but he's having a good run now, is Jeff Mosing, and running in 6th position. And his co-driver, Eric Foss, he's still in this championship mix. So Jeff's focus is to, if you get past that number 7, that's the car they're battling with in the championship, number 7 and number 56. That's all well and good, but he's got to finish a long, long way ahead of him in order to claim the championship for Eric Foss.
It's Jeremy Shaw, John Hindhaugh in the booth, Shea and Nick down in the pit lane. Jeremy already getting some questions on at IMSA radio and about the pit stop strategies. These shorter races, in all bar 2, are 2 hours for IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge. The TCRs, if you go all green all the way through, then it is a single stop. Here, this is a fast track, a lot of full throttle running, Jeremy. So GS make it on 2 here.
Yeah, I think there'll be 2 stops almost, unless there's a lot of full course caution. Be 2 stops, I believe, for the GS cars. TCR is just the 1, but yeah, that's there's certainly strategy to be played out during this race. But the guys on the charge right now is Trevor Andrusko, having got up into 3rd position. He just set the fastest lap of the race last time around in that number 55 Mercedes, a 126.984 for Trevor Andrusko. And that's only about a 3/4 of a second outside the lap record that was set by Philip Ellis a couple of years ago in a Mercedes for Winward Racing.
We were talking about Eric Foss, so let's talk to Eric. You come into this final race of the season with the shot at the championship. It's a long shot, but you got Jeff Mosing alongside you, and he texted me when he got injured and said, I'm out. It means Eric's going to win the championship, because every year you have, it's been solo. Is the pressure off for you guys, knowing that it is one of those things that has to come to you?
Yeah, to some extent. I mean, this has just been an amazing run with Jeff. We're in our 9th season together, which just doesn't feel like it's been that long, but so just so thankful for everything he's done to keep this program going over the years. And you know, he's been out of the car for so long, and just to see him out there right now up the pace, he's really given Alan a lot of run for his money. So let's see, you never know, you know, those guys make a mistake and we can capitalize. Something could happen, but it's just great to be back here at Road Atlanta. It's my home track. Grew up here, and my whole family's at turn 10, so it's just been an awesome weekend so far, and we'll just see if we can cap it off with a good result.
Good luck to you and Jeff this weekend.
Yeah, thanks so much, Shay. I appreciate everything you guys do. IMSA Radio is awesome to listen to.
Very sweet to see. Thank you. In fairness, the action is so intense, they make our job pretty easy. The guys out on the circuit.
There's battling going on in TCR as shuffling things around with that pit stop, of course, number 73 car. He's got a lot of ground to make up, although he's certainly making up some of that. He's getting closer to the rest of the contenders now in TCR. He's car number 73, but meanwhile Mark Wilkins is taking the lead in car number 33, and following him is Rory van der Steur in that van der Steur Racing Golosta, the older car, car number 19. Harry Gottsanger, who started on the front row in TCR, is hanging in there in the 3rd position. And then Kenny Murillo in the GS car, that's the car that served, number 72, that served a drive-through penalty. And then running out top 5, Eric Rockwell in car number 15. Good run by that Belgian Technical driver. He's worked his way up, a long way up the order in the early stages.
0.6 of a second at the front of the field. Tom Dyer ahead of Dylan McAvern. Those two pulling away from Trevor Andrusko. He's back to the 4 seconds further back, and 2.5 seconds from that in 4th place is Hugh Plum, the number 46 team TGN. Then it's Alan Brynjolfsson in 5th position for Aston Martin and for Volt Racing, and the top 10 made up by McCann Racing's Porsche, the Mercedes of Murillo Racing, Super right up there, and the two Ford Mustangs in 9th and 10th, Court and JG Wentworth. That's Sheena Monk in the 877.
Yeah, and the two most noteworthy of their cars there, I think, a number 8 car of Andrew Davis in the 6th position right now. He started back in 13th, and Luca Mars in car number 59, now in a 9th position. He started way back in 24th. I told you he'd be a guy to watch. Every race for Luca Mars, he was too young to take part in the first race of the season at Daytona. He attained his 16th birthday, then took part at Sebring, qualified on the front row for his first ever race at this level. Very, very impressive. Did some MX-5 racing before that.
Yeah, he was good.
But he was good in that too, yeah. So he's a quick young man and very, very impressive. And every time he's qualified the car, he's been in the top 5. Fortunately, yesterday, they had a bit of a miscue in qualifying, so he didn't set a representative lap time at all, started at the back. He's charging forward. It's car number 59.
Learn a lot about close quarter racing in Idemitsu Mazda MX-5. Final 2 rounds of the championship took place earlier on this weekend. If you're playing catch-up, I won't spoil it for you. Van der Steur racing off at turn 10B. The number 19 car with the almost Peugeot Sport stripes on for those of a certain age. That looks like left front steering damage. Contact with another Hyundai, I think, as Rory came down the inside into turn 10. Oh, it's going to be right front damage, actually. Yeah, just a spin. That was a low percentage lunge by the number 19, Rory van der Steur, in the slightly older Veloster. Clever little design of car that. You'll know if you've heard us talking about TCR before that you must have a 4 or 5 door car. Well, you look on the driver's side of the car and it looks like it's only got 1 door. That's because it's only got 1 door. But on the passenger side of the car, there are 2 doors. So there's 1 long door on the driver's side on the left, and there are 2 doors on the right. And of course, with the hatchback, that gives it the 4 doors. So it is in fact legal. Now, it was the number 98 that was the other side of that, Harry Gottsacker.
No, it was number 33. He was going for the lead. Yeah. He was going for the lead, was Rory van der Steur.
So the 98's got its own damage. That's a separate damage, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was number 33. Well, yeah, because he was running in 2nd position. He was going for the lead, and it's just a bit optimistic. And he's...
Well, Van der Steur's got out of the gravel and has now got to get that car pointing in the right direction. I thought from where he was parked he might have some steering damage. I may have been wrong on that. This is driver's left at turn 10 into the pit lane for a Hyundai Elantra, and that's the Gottsacker car that's coming into the pit lane. Yeah, it is the number 98 that is coming down to visit Shea Adam and Nick Damon. And this is a loose bonnet on the left-hand side. A bonnet pin has popped out. And let's go down to the pit lane and hear what Shea Adam has got to say about this as it comes into the Brian Herter Autosport area of the pit lane.
The hood is actually deranged, John. It looks as if it's popped out not only from the front left, but also the rear left. But this is drama for our championship leaders because the number 1 also into the pit lane. They have the pit box that's right in front of their sister car, and now they are effectively serving a drive-through. As Taylor Hagler is told to just go back out, and she cannot re-engage the car in gear. She's revving it now. She's coming to a complete stop, trying to get things restarted, but the car will not go. There we go, finally. Woof, they were going to pit her, but because the sister car was in right behind them, it was going to be a messy pit stop, and they were expecting a yellow to come out, so they sent Taylor back out. It's going to drop her to the back of the field, but they are jamming this hood to try and get it to a position where it will stay closed. Awful drama for the number 98 Hyundai. 3rd in the championship coming into today's race, looking to try and better it, not looking so good right now.
So several Hyundai incidents there. With Hyundai on Hyundai, I would say blue on blue, but it was white on blue, and Jeremy, you were spot on. It was the Mark Wilkins car that was attacked by Rory van der Steur. That's being looked at by race control. In the meantime as well, we've had someone off at turn 6 who's continued. That was the BMW, I think, the number 96. Yes, it was Vin Barletta. But the other Hyundais in strife, the 98, this is significant, and the number 1 car, and it's a bent bonnet pin. So Taylor Hagler came in for some reason, but was waved through. So that yes, it looked like a drive-through, as Shea said. She effectively served a drive-through, but she didn't have a problem. Now the right bonnet pin is not fastened on that car. The right-hand side bonnet pin is not fastened on that car. They pulled it up and they haven't pulled it back down again.
What's bizarre about that is, I mean,
and none of those cars were the cars that were hit by Van der Steur, by the way.
That's right. This is all either self-inflicted or whatever. I mean, the #1 car is going for the championship, for goodness sake. That's the car that leads the points only by 100. It's not that far ahead of the Alfa Romeo in terms of the championship points. So, you know, they need a sort of 6th place finish to come away with the championship. And I'm surprised they wouldn't have prioritised that car over the number 98, to be honest.
And just pushed it out of the way, basically, yeah. A question that I cannot answer, Jeremy. Well, I'm having it confirmed from our TV colleagues up in Charlotte that it was a different incident for the 98, but we can't quite find where that was on the track. If we get more information, I'll let you know. Shea or Nick might have a wander down to the Hyundai Brian Herter pits and find out what was, and I also want to know why Taylor Hagler was in the pit lane after just you know 20 minutes, because unless they were just taking her off strategy. No,
because she didn't stop. So no, I don't know why she came in, but the number 98 car, I'm pretty sure, John, was running in 3rd place in the class.
Correct.
On its own, I thought. So unless there was an incident with one of the GS cars, I can't imagine what happened to the 98, to be perfectly honest. Meanwhile, up front, it's still Tom Dyer who leads. Dylan McAvern, they're right with him. These two very closely matched. Initially, Trevor Andrusko was kind of closing in a bit. Now he's slipping back. The gap back to 3rd place is almost 6 seconds. Hugh Plum remains in 4th. Let's have a look at replay here. As we see car number 21 diving to the inside of Vin Barletta. That's Anton Diaz Pereira. That's probably going to be, the stewards are going to be looking at that one.
So that was when Vin Barletta was involved as well, and that car's now coming into the pits. This is the number 96 Turner car. So what was that 3-car incident? No action for the Hyundai on Hyundai. Van der Steur on Mark Wilkins at turn 10A.
Kind of self-policing, to be honest.
But there's another hit.
That's for the lead.
And this time it's the number 93 car of Tom Dyer, who was tapped by Turner Motorsports Dylan McAvern, and Trevor Andrusko was right there as well, but he was an innocent bystander, so we have a new leader. No, in fact, the lead has been held by the 93 car.
No, is it?
Yeah, I think he's managed to keep going.
So look, down the inside,
he can't
defends the position there, and gets tagged from behind there by number 95. As they're going past Jacob Diley there.
Correct, the number 70 Hyundai.
Yeah, he's not minding his own business. He's nothing to do with him. 93 goes to the inside to make that blocking move. I think that's fair enough. And then he gets tagged from the rear by Dylan McAvern. He goes for a big sort of tank slapper. And there goes Dylan McAvern through to take the lead. But the stewards are going to be busy. They're going to be looking at that one as well.
Contact for the number 1 car, I'm hearing. So Taylor Hagler in that drive-through situation where she couldn't get service had reported some contact as well. Vin Barletta in and out pretty quickly, Shea Adam, from the Turner pits, and that's a significant car as far as the championship's concerned.
Very significant, 3rd in points coming into today, not with the chance to overtake the top 2, but still a good opportunity to perhaps move up into 2nd. But for Vin Barletta, he came into the pits, they did a normal surface fuel and 4 new Michelin tires. So perhaps they're not going to change the tires when they do the driver change here shortly, taking Vin out and putting Robbie Foley in at the 40-minute mark.
Right, it's all happening, isn't it? Oh, well, wait, it's a Michelin Pilot Challenge race.
Yes, Jeremy, come on. Get with the programme, really. It's been like that for the last few seasons.
Incident involving cars 96 and 21 under review. Yeah, that'll be definitely under review. That was Anton Diaz Pereira in car number 21 making a move to the inside on Vin Barletta. Really wasn't close enough from my perspective. Race control, however, has various other looks like no penalty, pit lane speed violation for number 96 car.
So that's Vin Barletta coming in to
yeah.
get fixed up and sent out. Oh dear me, this is really, really not what you're looking for, is it?
No, for Robbie Foley, who's in that battle for third position in the championship. He's only 20 points ahead of Kenny Murillo and Christian Shimjak. James Pesek's only another 10 points farther back as well, another 30 points to be farther back as well. So it's very tight for third, fourth and fifth in the points table coming into this weekend. That'll be a big points hit for Robbie Foley, with Vin Barletta first of all having to come in to check for the damage after that contact that he had on the racetrack, and a penalty as well. Race control's been really busy. There's the drive-through, and Vin Barletta took him a while to get going again, but there he goes. He'll rejoin the fray, but a long way down the order. In fact, there is the race leader, his teammate, coming up to put him a lap down. So as they're going up the hill to turn 3, Dylan McElroy will sweep past, and the Robbie Foley car, the second of the Turner Motorsport BMWs, it's the car with the yellow hood and roof, as opposed to number 95 car, which has a white hood and roof. It's the white one leads the race. The other one is a lap down, about 37th position. So second place car of Tom Dyer, he's sort of closing a little bit. Seen yet anything about a review? Well, here's a look at what happened in that battle for the lead, and.
Which way do you call that, Jeremy?
Well, to me, I mean, number 93 cars, it's moved to the inside a little bit late, but he leaves plenty of room down the inside.
He didn't go the whole way. He started to move and realised the BM was there, and then straightened it back up again.
No problem, and then he gets nailed by the BMW from my perspective. The other time was kind of the other, boot was on the other foot there. Number 21 car just wasn't close enough at, that was what, turn 6, wasn't it? Which is an awfully difficult place to make a pass, by the way. But
such
Anton
a quick
Diaz
entry
Pereira,
to that.
Yeah, it is. But Diaz Pereira went for it, and to my mind, it's still under review. Race control. They've got a lot to look at the moment.
Hang on, lads. We'll get to you in a sec.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those. The job that nobody wants to do. Race control. Hats off to the ladies and gents up there, and indeed to our TV replay crews, who are affectionately known as the tape apes. Provide them with some of their looks. They've also got their own replay machines as well, and more isolated cameras to show. Bring you news of that as Vin Barletta tries to get back some of the ground he lost. Had a big wiggle there coming through turn number 5. So at the front of the field, Dylan McElroy for BMW leads in the 95 Turner BMW. A little bit of a question mark hanging over him. He's under investigation. And the good news is that Tom Dyer could still continue in that car. 3 seconds further back, and then Trevor Andrusko for the AMG number 55, and then the second of the Porsches, excuse me, is Hugh Plum in that blue, orange, and silver number 46 Team TGM car.
So a penalty incident responsibility with the number 96. So drive-through penalty for car number 21, the Mercedes, and that's going to drop him a long way back down. They were battling for around about 14th position before that incident took place. In the meantime, Dylan McElroy leads. He's stretched out that lead over the last couple of laps now. It was down to a second and a half, number 95 to number 93, but Dylan McElroy's earned a couple of good laps here. He extended that lead now over Tom Dyer in second place, but that incident is also under review now from race control between the number 95 and the number 93 cars. Meanwhile, in TCR, Mark Wilkins still leads by a chunk now over Mason Philippine's teammate. So number 33 over number 77. Eric Rockwell's doing a fine job there in number 15, Bellegarde Technical Racing Audi, up into the third position, and Roy Block right behind him in fourth. AJ Muss, the snowboard Olympian, up into fifth position as well in car number 2. He's kept his nose clean, unlike most of the other Hyundais, it seems.
Good point.
And it's running up in the top 5, having started right towards the tail of the field in TCR. I just saw him before the start. He had a big smile on his face. He was looking forward to the race. He was actually looking up to the sky and seeing those sort of very light sprinkles and thinking, oh yes, I like this. Hasn't come to that, but he's still driving a good job, done a nice job in his early stages, and is up into the 5th position in TCR. It's car number 2. Dylan McAvoy again, 29.3 last time around. Leaders have been dealing with traffic the last few laps. There's been quite a few other slower cars they've had to negotiate through. And so lap times aren't quite as consistent as they would normally be, perhaps, amongst these experienced drivers at the front of the field. Dylan McAvoy, 2017 GS champion, and that with the RS1 team with Spencer Capelli. Now with Tony Mossberg at BMW, they've been contenders for always. He and Bill Oblin, of course, will be driving that car next. Herder looking on in the pit lane as he sees his cars running first and second at the moment, but Taylor Hagler back in the 12th position in TCR. There's Tom Collingwood. Looks like he's got a problem out on the racetrack.
Yeah, the number 83 Porsche.
He's running in the 20... He was running in the 18th position before whatever happened there, I think.
22nd on the time screen. Yeah. These people have gone by. He's got it going again. It was coming down the back straight.
Victor Gonzalez gets awfully close to the tail, or into the tail perhaps, of AJ Muss there heading into the chicane. Right behind him was the Alfa Romeo, and I think right behind them was the race leader as well. Which Hyundai is this into the pit lane?
Let's wait for the timing to catch up.
It's kind of a 33.
It is the 33. That is the race leader. Shea Adam has that car in the pit lane now.
Right front tire is going to be changed on this car, as they now are going to do both of the front tires. Mark Wilkins staying aboard for a little bit longer. Minimum drive time has not yet been hit. Mark Wilkins is not a TCR driver they want to take out any earlier than they have to, a champion from a couple years back. But they've changed the right tire. They're still working on the left side, having a bit of trouble getting it seated, but no harm, no foul, because they are still waiting on fuel. Mark is waiting now, dropped off the air jacks. Fuel probe comes out, perfect timing, no time lost, and their stop is done. Mark is going to go for another, maybe an hour.
Well, that extends their window, as Eve rightly says. Shea down in the pit lane says that. Drive time, Shea, minimum drive time for the drivers here is
40 minutes.
4-0. Yeah, 40 minutes. So Mark could probably, well, easily go into that sort of area before he gets out of the car. Who does that leave in the lead of TCR then, Jeremy? That would leave the number 77, Mason Filippi car coming through turn 1 and over the top of turn 2 and 3 now.
It's been a weird race in TCR, hasn't it? We've had all sorts of dramas, and you know, they might be able to bounce back from this, that puncture for the number 33 car, but it's certainly going to be a tall order for them. But so many other people have had difficulties that, you know, who knows? Mason Filippi, he and his teammate Tyler Maxson, who's doing double duty this weekend, he's racing in the in Petit Le Mans tomorrow in an LP3 car. They've had a whole bunch of pole positions this season in number 77 car. They've each had two poles, in fact, so 4 poles out of the 10 race season. That's pretty impressive for that pair, but the results just haven't gone their way. Maybe today finally will, because they've had just 1 podium finish on number 77 car. This is 2 podium finishes, I beg your pardon, including the 2nd place last time out, 7th before that, and the 3rd before that, which was at Longmont Park. So they're certainly finishing off this season strong. They started off strong with 4 poles in the first 6 races. Maybe we can finish off with 3 podiums out of the last 4.
The extraordinary thing, Jeremy, is all of this action and drama in both categories, and we've been green for the last however long it is that we've been racing. We stayed green for all of the race so far. So at least let's hope it stays that way.
Yeah,
despite people throwing themselves at each other and the scenery, they've all managed to get pointing back in the right direction and either continue or limp back to the pits.
Yeah.
So a couple of moments ago, more drama down at turn 10A, and that's more side-by-side action. Okay, that was the start of the Victor. No, that's another one. That's Victor Gonzalez being gently ushered off the track as he was trying to pass whichever Hyundai it was that he was alongside, and has a little trip through the gravel. Shea Adam can give us some news from the pit lane on the various Hyundai problems. What's been going on, Shea?
The 33, which was the car that came in most recently, driven by Mark Wilkins, came in because they were anticipating a yellow coming out. It obviously did not, but they took their chance and leaving Mark Wilkins out there for longer. Not really in the championship hunt as far as the top two are concerned, so they're looking for another race win this year. Now, the 98 did have contact out on the track. That's what knocked the hood up. They had to come in and address that right away. Whereas the sister car, the number 1 championship leader, there was contact on track from second in the championship. The Alpha came together with it. That's what precipitated it coming down the pit lane. But with all the focus on the sister car, the number 98, already in its pit box, they sent Taylor back out and hoped the yellow would come out, giving them a longer opportunity to examine the car. Again, no yellow has appeared.
Might do now, though. We've got the Alpha in the gravel and a slow-moving Porsche as well from the far side of the course. Yeah, there was contact.
It was the BGB car,
the BGB Porsche, very slow down the back straight and has turned the Alfa Romeo of Raleigh sponsored machine around. No, it's got going. Excellent. That was the apex of turn number 7, but that Alpha that had eased its way up into the top 5 in TCR, just staying out the way. There's a bit of damage on the left rear of that car. Might be coming into the pit lane this time around. Again, that is coming from too far back for the BGB car.
And that's one of the championship contenders in TCR. Ryan Block there going for a ride in that number 5 Alfa Romeo.
Roy cannot buy any look, can he?
No, it seems not.
Wow. So that's another one that race control will have to look at. He stayed out, and I'm not sure that that car is completely straight on the right rear. Let's have a look and see how it's tracking over the top of the hill at turns 2 and 3, staying out the way of everybody else. That is so annoying. Great looking car in the black and gold colours. Pass under yellow for the car number 5. So that'll be a drive-through. And that being that is the Alpha. So they're having a horrible time. Yeah. And now a spin. I think the rear suspension's just broken on that car at turn 5. So car 5, turn 5. No, it's a puncture. The tyre, I thought there was damage to that right rear, and I thought it was pretty brave for Roy Block to stay out. He's kept the car running, unless he's been clobbered again by somebody else because of an evil handling car. So we still stay green, and he's going to limp back. Now, he was absolutely nailed by the BGB car, was he?
Well,
I mean, he's got to turn in at some stage, hasn't he?
Yeah, but the 83 car was alongside and then kind of slowed right up, and that was a weird one, to be honest. Yeah, you certainly should have seen there was a car on the inside of him, should Roy Block. The Porsche was right there alongside of him, but then kind of backed out. Maybe he thought the car was going out. You know,
it was
a kind of weird one.
It was a turn 10 pass under yellow for that Alpha.
In the meantime, then, this has been a dramatic race certainly. Trevor Andrushko is still running in 3rd position, car number 55. Then Hugh Plum in 4th in car number 46, but he's coming under increasing pressure now from Andrew Davis in the number 8 McCann Racing Porsche. He's fighting up through the field. Right behind him now is Luca Mars in that number 59 Ford Mustang for Core Motorsport. It's been a tremendous drive by Luca Mars, up now into the 6th position and pretty much on the tail of Andrew Davis as they complete lap 26, and the Alpha heads for the pit lane.
And just down the pit lane, the number 19. Hyundai, they are having a look at the front of the car. It's taken some damage. They've done a full, so then the tyre check. Oh yeah, they're having to get the the under tray from the front off, so it's not like a splitter, but it's recalcitrantly attached on the left mount. The right mount is broken, as is half of that lip gone as well. Also gesticulating from the driver, frustration overflowing, but this thing looks very second-hand, in fairness. This could be, this probably actually needs to spend more time in the shop than the pit lane. And when they do get it off, of course, when they take the front splitter off, they're going to have very little aero. So more problems for these TCR cars. And then further down, I see the Alphas in the pits as well now. That's got back in again, number 5 car. That is having a full service. The other end of the pit lane from me, on my half. They've got all the tyres laid out. They're going to obviously put a new rear one on it. But yeah, it's all going on here, but we are, of course, getting very close to the 40-minute mark.
No one is down here yet on my end of the pit lane, John, but people are sitting on the walls with tires. It is minimum drive time being met, so it means it's about to get busy.
So that Alpha stop, then we'll have a look at that. I think that he's not going very well at all, and they've done what they can, but there's damage to the rear. That was the contact between the Alpha and the BGB Porsche. He was sort of there and sort of not, and backed out. The worst thing he can do is be indecisive.
Yeah.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other, I don't know, but the Alpha has come off the worst, and that looks to be rear suspension or tyre damage on that car as it was coming up to turn number 5 ahead of the 72. Yeah, tyre's gone. Tyre's gone as he turned into turn 5. Now, what other damage is, it kind of would get your attention because that's the loaded tyre, and it's going behind the wall.
So that's the end of that championship.
And it is it was a tyre, Jeremy, but caused by rear right suspension being bent. No action for that injury, as we've now hit the.
Did we see a resolution to the number 93 and number 95? Was that no action as well?
I didn't see that, if I'm honest, Jeremy. Now we've hit the drive time. Expect to see lots of drivers coming in to the pit lane. Nick Damon, first of all.
Yeah, we just received the 43, the GS BMW. That is the car, he's scaling his head, of Stephen Cameron Racing. Now, they are doing a bit of fuel there, obviously, with the GS cars needing fuel as well as tyres. Don't see a driver change, so they're just going to keep him the second front at the moment. They are currently going through that five nut whiz. It's all the old-fashioned NASCAR before NASCAR went centre hub. Great noise, and away he rolls. They hadn't really moved their tyres enough. Shay, your end.
Our pole sitter is in. Nick, we've got Dylan McEvoy staying here because it is Bill Power time. Bill Oberlin taking over the number 95 Turner Motorsport BMW. We've also got TGM in with one of their Porsches. That's car number 64. Ted Giovannis is getting out, handing over to Owen Trinkler. We've also got the number 71. That's the Camaro from Rebel Rock Racing. They're in. That's a driver change over to Robin Liddell from Frank Depew. And importantly, 56 Murillo Racing. It is Eric Foss time after Jeff Mosing started the car. Did a very good job to move his way up through the field. And also the pit board is dangling for Volt Racing, meaning Alan Brynjolfsson's season in GS is done. Was it a championship winning one? Well, we'll find out in about an hour and 20 minutes worth, because now it is time to hand over to Trent Hinman.
Thanks to our pit reporters there.
He's waited a lot longer than some of these other contenders, as Alan Brynjolfsson, because he didn't come in this time around. 2 of the Murillo cars are in the pit lane. Jeff Mosing, number 56, to hand over to Eric Foss, who you just heard. Number 72 car also in. That's Kenny Murillo, son of team owner Ken. We'll hand over that car to Christian Schimjack. And here now comes Alan Brynjolfsson. 29 laps in the books. Tom Dyer stays out to lead the race for car number 93. And running in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th position will be Alan Brynjolfsson.
Must seem like you're going backwards on the pit lane speed limiter as you come down there. Come to a halt. Team will go to work.
So, yep, the Wright Motorsports team goes to work on that Aston Martin. There'll be a change of tyres. Trent Hinman will hop aboard.
Standard stop, I think. Shea Adam is there.
Yep, it is fuel, tires, and the driver change. This crew for Volt Racing, which worked with Wright Motorsport last year to help them win the GS Championship, very calm and very well maintained as far as form is concerned. We've also got the 96 Turner Motorsport BMW back into the pit lane. Remember, they were in not too long ago for Vin Barletta. Vin is now getting out of that car, having done the extra couple of laps because, of course, he's already been down the pit lane twice, and the time spent in the pit lane doesn't count against your drive time. They've removed the right rear tire, and they're actually looking at the suspension in there. While they've got the opportunity, the fueling is done, car is still up on the air jacks, still no new tire. This is going to take the 96 out of the contention because in terms of third in the championship, well, that was very hotly contested. So that means that they're probably going to drop down. But also into the pit lane, the number 93 for Carbon, that's the Porsche. That's down on Nick's end, but on my end, 46 Team TGM, that will be Hugh Plum handing over to Matt Plum.
93 has come to a safe stop and is receiving the full service driver change as well. Passing me by is the Aston Martin number 139. That was right at pit ins. That's already completed service and rolling through. Very impressed by the particular action of the fueler on the Cayman there. He's got a very interesting stance. He pumps the fuel to the bonnet of the car, as I say, the hood. So they're just completing that now with the. It's interesting. One of the things, because we're using these 5-nut wheels, one of the things they have to do at the end of the pit stop is some poor man has to go and pick up all the discarded 20 bolts or 25 bolts that have fallen off. So there's a lot of work done afterwards. Going down now, I can see one of the Mustangs. That is the number 877 car, and it's all keeping busy here.
You should never say hood, Nick. It's a bonnet, and it's the same as corners and straights, not turns and straightaways. We have standards to keep up, you know. Off they go. And in the pits, there's been a change of position, Shea, Adam, as you were watching them go out past you and off the pit lane speed limiter.
It was still Porsche, but Team TGM beat out Carbon. So now Tyler McQuarrie is staring at the back of Matt Plum's car. Meanwhile, the service goes on for the 877 Ford Mustang. We have to give them some credit. They found form at the end of the season with 2 podium finishes in the last, 3 races. They are doing their driver change. Kyle Marcelli is taking over, and Sheena Monk has gotten out, just waiting on the fuel. 4 new Michelin's already bolted onto this Mustang.
Just a couple of moments ago, the Cayman and Volt Racing Aston Martin coming very close together at turn number 6, and the Riley Supra is in amongst that as well.
Which has not yet stopped. So that's actually running in
Supra
third
hasn't
position.
stopped,
Supra has not stopped. That's running in third position. Trevor Understood leads then in the FCP Euro car number 55 Mercedes. Luca Mars all the way up in second place, and only a couple of seconds behind in that core number 59 Ford. Brilliant drive by young Luca. He'll be handing over that car to former series champion Billy Johnson. And Alfredo Nadri in that Riley Motorsport Supra in third position. That's car number 14.
Just seen a full service number 8 car. Andrew Davis has hopped out and gone straight to the car there, which is interesting. Michael McCann's got into it. He said, well, the car, the club car. He's sitting down. I think he's expecting someone to drive him somewhere. The number 19 Hyundai is back in again. That's the car which they were fixed in the front of. I think now they're actually just doing a bit of a standard service rolling out. The 99 Honda TCR car is just pulling out the pits. And to my right, I can now see we've got a Mercedes coming towards us and stopping right at pit in. So you'll get the number of that one more easily than I will, John.
Thank you, Nick. News from the race control. It was the FCP Euro 55 car that Nick was talking about there, coming in out of second place for Trevor Andrusko, but owing us that pit stop. The number 2 Brian Herter Autosport TCR car, AJ Musk driving that car. Incident responsibility with the Victor Gonzalez 99. So that was the car that ushered the Victor Gonzalez Honda off the track. I think Victor was at the wheel at that point. It's changed to his teammate now. Which of the witnesses is that, Jeremy?
Carl.
It is Carl, yeah, thank you. So that was down at 10A. So that will be a drive-through for AJ Musk in that Brian Hurt Autosport. That car currently running 4th in class.
Yeah, and leading the TCR now is Mason Philippi in car number 77. The battle for second, though, is number 15, which is Alex Rockwell. Really fine drive by Alex, but right behind him now is the pole sitter, car number 73. That's Matt Pombo up into third position and looking to challenge for second as they head down the back straight. So in amongst that little group is the Van der Steur Racing, number 19. That's had problems, is in several laps down, so not in contention here. But around the outside goes Pombo into the chicane and up into second position ahead of the number 15 car.
News of a Turner penalty, I think, from Shea Adam.
Yeah, let me just come down here and ask Johnny Knotts. Johnny, what was the Turner penalty for?
They had a safety stand underneath the car while they were refueling.
Oh, thanks, Johnny.
Just out of the car, it's Andrew Davis from the number 8 code. I don't think I've ever seen a race with so much incident, but no full course yellow. What's it like to be in it?
Yeah, it was quite crazy, but you know, close racing at Road Atlanta, it's very small room for margin, so it can happen. I was happy everybody was able to keep rolling because I had some momentum trying to move up to the field. We probably could have used at least one of those yellows, but it probably would have thrown us off strategy as well. So yeah, that's how it is racing at Road Atlanta here. It's exciting.
Is it end of term madness, or just the constraints of the track?
No, I think you know, it may be a little bit of madness. You know, a lot of people, there's a lot of madness in GT4 racing in general. Sometimes you wish people would make a little better decisions. I tried to do that and show Michael Jr. how that's done and keep the car clean and bring it to him. If everybody did that, they'd all have better races, wouldn't they?
Thanks, Andrew.
We just had an incident as well on the pit lane that involved the number 40. That was Joey Hand taking over for PF Racing. The car has won twice so far this year because the Michael Johnson Racing number 54 came into the pit box right ahead of them. And Joey was told to leave when he had a clear opportunity. Then at the last second, he was told to hold. And then when he was told to go again, he hit the tire leaving the pit box. So that will be a drive-through penalty for PF Racing.
That's going to cost them dearly here.
One of the other Mustangs, though, Luca Mars was just on the pit lane to hand over to Billy Johnson. It was a great first in from young Luca Mars. Really impressed by him there. He had good pace all the way through it. Didn't appear to do anything silly. Brought that car. He worked his way. He led a couple of laps until he came in after 33 laps. So great drive by him. And I think that'll probably put Ramin Abdul Vahabi in car number 09 for automatic racing. The Aston Martin has not yet made a pit stop, but he's about to be overtaken for what will be the lead by Bill Oberlin, who has been into the pit lane. Behind him is another of the bronze category cars. That's Gary Ferreira, who also hasn't pitted. And then Matt Plum, with a good pit stop, has vaulted ahead of Tyler McQuarrie in the car barn with Peregrine, number 93 car. So Bill Oberlin now will lead the race this time around, ahead of Gary Ferreira as Ramin Abdul Vahabi comes onto the pit lane.
It's Jeremy Shaw, along with me, John Hindhaugh in the Haggerty Global Broadcast Centre. Shea Adam and Nick Damon down in the pit lane with just 68 minutes to go of the 120, which we started the race. Bill Oberlin then leads by 7.5 seconds over the Capstone Motorsport car in second. That's the number 11, AMG. Third, Billy Johnson, the Core Motorsports. That would be a Ford. Fourth and fifth, two Porsches. Matt Plum, taking over from his brother, is ahead of the 93, the dark grey and green Carbon Autosports Tyler McQuarrie driven car, and the top six made up at a distance of 20 seconds from the leader by the 09 Aston Martin. TCR, Mason Filippi leads. Has Mason been into the pit lane yet? No, he has not. From the Eric Rockwell driven Bellegarde and Techniseal, Audi in second, Stephen Cameron. Elliot Honderworld and Matt Pombo just in the pits at the moment.
Having worked his way all the way up after serving that penalty back up into second position. Okay, several other contenders have made pit stops, but a really good comeback charge by the local driver Matt Pombo. He'd have been so frustrated to get that penalty. He's got an awful lot of laps around here over the years, has Matt. He's from Atlanta, driving with his good buddy and fellow Atlanta native Ryan Eversley, who's going to take over that number 73 car from here to the end.
Well, it's a very good, efficient stop for 73. Driver change has been made, but of course it's trying to catch up from those earlier issues, but they have got away and they haven't lost any time. The number 2 Hyundai is also there at the moment, getting a full service and driver change. And the number 11 Mercedes GT4 is also pulled in, the Skillsoft car from the GS division. So still people are rolling through the back end of this pit strategy period.
Thank you, Nick. So coming down to half distance here. Still really the stagger to work itself out here. There's a number of different pit strategies.
Yeah.
Who's not stopped yet? Well, Mason Filippi at the head of TCR in 11th position overall. I don't think the Belgarden Technics, I don't think Eric Rockwell stopped either, has he? So they've got to come in. Pretty much everybody in GS has been into the pit lane. Let's have a word with some of the drivers who've got out. Nick Damon.
Just leading in to engineer. Matt, I don't know what to say really. Did you realise you just come across too early?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. You know, it's the downside of starting when I don't normally. So I think it was close. I know that Gottsacker was a car behind me, and I tried to drift out on the straight. Maybe I timed it early. It's all right. Those guys have a better view than we do in the seat. I know it was close. So I hate it came down to that. Probably was a bumper away. But anyway, we're moving forward. The car's great. Ryan, get out there. We're in the top 3. I think we have the car to beat today. It's hot, so I don't know, it's not really, but it's hot in the car. I had the windows up trying to make up ground, so I want to say hey to Eli and Henry and my wife Beth. I know they came up. They don't get to come up often, so I want to send a shout out to them and cheer that LA Honda World number 73. I hate I got us in this predicament, but I would have taken a top 3 handoff to Ryan any day. I wish it was up front, but we'll see how it goes. Still a lot left. Thank you.
It was a great comeback drive. I mean, realistically, can he get to the front without a yellow flag?
Yeah, I think so. They were telling me it's like 7 to 9 laps and 7 to 9 seconds to the leader, and we were a second a lap faster at the end. So I think, you got to have a lot of things go your way. So hopefully, traffic keeps playing in our favor and not in theirs, and we'll be there to race them.
Quick question. Obviously, it's hot, but do the windows up? How much does that give you? A couple of miles an hour?
Yeah, I mean, on a windy day, with hurricane stuff coming through, I think it buffets in the car. So it's a strategy. It's not necessarily a driver comfort strategy, but, I think with ground to make up, we had to go. So you deal with it and let Ryan do the same thing.
Hugh Plum, that was a great stint to kick things off. We were watching you just coming up through the field in the number 46 Team TGM Porsche. This track seems very well suited for Porsches. We're seeing a lot of them run at the front. Does that make it more difficult when the people you're battling are in like machinery?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was a great run for TGM, and kind of look forward to towards the end of the race. We always look forward to coming here, and TGM guys have been through a lot this year for sure. So excited for the Volt guys. Hopefully they've maybe tied it up. They deserve a championship. So hats off to them. But can't say enough about Ted Giovannis and the whole TGM crowd. Porsche, what a great day. Good way to end the 2022 season.
You know what it's like to come into this final round of the season and have the pressure on of trying to win a championship. So very classy words coming from you. It's been the sister car that's gotten the podium so far this year, and there's a podium mustache that's been going around. What's the current bet going forward if another podium or perhaps even a double podium were to appear?
I so want to grow a mustache. I don't think I could grow one if we won every race all season long. But no, obviously the 64 car and Ted and Owen, great job to them. I do know what it feels like to come here with a knife to your back. Unfortunately, we're not doing that this year, but more years to come. And tough year, but that's all right. You have those in this sport.
Best way to start the next year is to kick off by a good win here today. So good luck to you guys on Team Good Mustache. I think we're going to call you from now on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jay.
Yeah, I saw Owen and Ted down on the group.
I've seen the picture.
You've seen the picture already, yeah, okay.
Yeah. The triple mustache team there. We had Taylor Hagler coming in to the pits whilst that was going on. And it looked to be a relatively clean stop. Also in the 77 Hyundai. And then at the top of the hill, coming together for the Euro FCP number 52 white, blue and black car, and the 93 Porsche from Car Bomb. Bits of car flying off there. Not entirely sure which car the pieces were.
It's a battle for third place,
yes,
by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. FCP Euros, Mike Skeen in that car, Tyler McQuarrie in the other one. 4th and 5th, those two. Yes, Jeremy, sorry. The also coming into the pit lane for what looked to be standard stop was the Dealey Motorsports number 70 TCR. That's the Hyundai Veloster with the sort of purple and black urban camouflage on that car. Coming down to an hour to go. We'll give you an update. Here's how it stands. Turner Motorsport, BMW, Bill Oberlin from Billy Johnson for Co Motorsport, and the number 59 Ford. Then Team TGM, Matt Plum on a podium drive maybe with the 46 car. Top 6 made up by the FCP Euro and that Carbon car, along with the McCann Racing number 8 machine. Come through the field quite nicely as well. They're about 3 seconds further back. In TCR, as the pit stops have cycled through, it is the 33 Brian Herder Autosport Hyundai with Mark Wilkins now behind the wheel that leads from Ryan Eversley for Honda World in second place. So that long run and the tactics at the start after that problem, the Ryan Eversley driven car now, the 73 in second, ahead of Tyler Maxson for Brian Herder Autosport by about 1.3 seconds, and the rest of the TCR's falling in behind that. So that was a really good drive back by Matt Pombo after he was spun around early on.
Yeah, true that. And the strategy is going to be interesting here. They got to half distance now before there's a slew of cars onto pit lane, including that number 77 car. So they should be good to go to the end from there. So yes, Mark Wilkins leads, but he has still to hand over that car to Robbie Wickens. So he's definitely committed to 2 stops, whereas some of these others can do it on 1.
It's a very
good point. That's going to be interesting. And Ryan Eversley, I think, having made that stop just a couple, 3 laps ago, I would imagine they're probably good to go to the end, just do a little bit more than an hour. Certainly if there's any caution, that shouldn't be a problem for them. So it's going to be a straight fight at the moment, I would think, between Ryan Eversley and Tyler Maxson. It's number 73 ahead of the 77. Carl Whitmer in 3rd position. He's got, well, 4th position because Mark Wilkins is way out ahead. I don't think he's far enough ahead to be able to make another pit stop, but he isn't far enough ahead to make another pit stop and still retain the lead.
Looks to me as though Mark Wilkins has got the better part of a minute in hand over Ryan Eversley, but that's not enough time to do a pit stop and a driver change. So it will give Rob Wickens a job to do as he drives back through. I think he'll join back in probably in 3rd or 4th after that. Just Tyler Maxson's only another 3 seconds further back. But Shea down in the pit lane just telling me that Ryan Eversley his car is flapping. Well, he isn't, but the car is. The underfloor is flapping around as it goes into turn 1. As into the pit lane comes the leader, and this is the stop then with 57 minutes to go. So well inside what the fuel tank can do. Adam, we've got the leading Hyundai with you.
Well inside what Robert Wickens can do as well. I'm standing a little bit further down, so hopefully when the 73 does come past, you'll be able to hear it in the background of my mic. But they are doing fuel. 4 tires, maybe? Yes, they are. 4 tires for Robert Wickens, so a full tire change, which for a TCR car is a little bit unusual. Normally, they just change the front, so they are looking for a little bit of extra grip for Robert Wickens as he goes out there and takes this car to the checkered flag. No more trips down the pit lane needed for this 33 Hyundai. That was it in the background. Can you hear any of the flapping, John? It's getting worse and worse every time as it comes by. But the pit stop continues. They're changing the left side tires. Old Michelin's coming off now. The new ones are going on. And the fuel nozzle is out. So now they're just losing time on the tire change. Waiting for the car to drop off the air jacks as it does now. Car is good to go. And Robert Wickens roars into this race.
See where he rejoins.
Sure, they needed to take 4 tires there, and that could be costly. I mean, they're already doing 1 more pit stop than everybody else, so I guess they want as much grip as they can possibly get.
Yeah, that is a fair point.
It's this battle a little bit further back there with Eric Foss has moved his way ahead of both Michael McCann and Trent Hinman, I think. Yeah, I think he has. So not quite sure what happened there. That's the battle for 6th, 7th and 8th with the Michael McCann car but becoming under increasing pressure from Thiago Camilo, the Brazilian, in the Toyota Supra, car number 14, the Toyota Gazoo South America team, run by Riley Motorsport. He's still ahead of now Eric Foss, and then behind them both is Michael McCann, and then the championship leader Trent Hinman. And Trent Hinman, for as far as he's concerned, if he can follow Eric Foss from here, he'll be more than happy with that, because that would be enough to clinch the championship for that Volt Racing car number 7.
So welcomed into the pit lane Andrew Marriott, who has an update on that Super GR.
Very interesting, the man that's in charge of that whole program, Steve Hallam, manager of vehicle support and track engineering for Lexus, was in 1991 the guy who was engineered Ayrton Senna to the World Championship. In fact, Steve had 30 years in Formula One, and later worked for Waltrip Racing, but now he's the sort of man on the ground for Lexus. So some Formula One experience down there. And Steve was in the pit earlier, but actually he's just gone back, I think, to the other side, because he's also involved, of course, with the Lexus in the main race.
Yeah, with TRD, came over, as you say, I think about, he came over in 2018, he was telling me. I actually flew out with him on the plane from Southern California, along with John Ward, who's another legend of this sport, another legendary design engineer for Dan Gurney's All-American Races. He works with Brian O'Hurda Autosport Hyundai team, and the three of us were on the plane. We were delayed a couple of hours in Dallas, so they went off to the first class lounge, and I didn't.
Such is the...
I did have some work done.
Such is the lot of us poor broadcasters, Jeremy. Absolutely. 54.5 minutes to go. Bill Auburn leads overall for BMW ahead of Ford. Billy Johnson, 95 and 59.
Yeah.
18.5 seconds that gap now.
It's staying about the same. It's been that way for the last 7 or 8 laps.
Where did so Ryan Eversley's in the lead. So the 73 car, which started on pole position for LA Honda World in the final run for the FK7 TCR car, new car coming along. So where did Robbie Wiggins join in? That's in 8th position, some 24, 30, about 40 seconds away from the lead. So Bill Oberlin just taking a little bit of time out of Bill Johnson, like Billy Johnson last time around. Behind them, by the way, Matt, is the FCP Euro. That is the GT4 AMG. Then Team TGM. Mike Skeen in that mainly white BMW. Matt Plum on his rear aerofoil at the moment as they're heading up towards turn 5. Has Matt Plum gone through that?
No, don't think so. But what
James
for
Pesek
all of a
must be
sudden,
a lap down, is he?
Yes. Billy Johnson lost a couple of seconds on that last lap. All of a sudden to the leader now, as you say, he's got Mike Skeen right behind him there. The number 40 car is a lap down.
They had to do the drive-through for hitting the pit equipment, remember?
Yeah.
That's what cost them. Thank you, Shane.
In the 19th place. But it's battle on there for second position. Billy Johnson now just ahead of Mike Skeen, who overtook Matt Plum in car number 46 a couple of laps ago.
So into the pit lane for Nick Gallant and the 22 Porsche. Harry Gottsacker has just gone underneath us as well. I think, was that the 98 Hyundai? Yes, it was, and that's pulling up next to Sheehan.
This is the driver change, finally. Harry Gottsacker getting out, Parker Chase taking over. Remember, this car fighting for 3rd in the TCR Championship. The guys that they're battling with are the guys who have been out front for most of the race. Robert Wiggins is the one who's currently tied with them on 3rd, and Mark Wilkins started the race, Robbie bringing the car home. But now the driver change is complete. They are changing front tires only, have a lot of fuel that they need to put in this car because it's been running for a while, and they are grabbing new tape as well, because the tape that they put onto the car earlier to try and hold the hood down, well, it started to peel up, unfortunately. So it tells you how important aero is around all of these TCR cars. The hood pins are down. The left side one is seated, the driver's right side one. Well, that one's being held down by a zip tie, and all we're waiting on is fuel as the last pit stops for the GS cars continue further down to Andrew's end of pit lane.
Yeah, the Nola Sport Porsche is just in, the mechanic up on the bonnet in that special pose they have because the fuel goes in right in the center of the bonnet. No driver change, just looking around to see what tires they're putting in. And I think they've just done the left side. And off goes the car. And Nola Sport back in the race.
So possibly only 2 tyres there. The working side tyres would be the left-hand side tyres. Yeah, we've seen it before. 2 tyres or 4 tyres. Sometimes the rear drive cars go for rears only. That is a little more difficult. Quite easy. Set up the balance of the car. Volt Racing, Adam Brynjolfsson handed over to Trent Hinman and sits in 9th position at the moment. He's stalking the Michael McCann Racing number 8 Porsche ahead of him, and there's a little mistake coming out of turn 5. Now coming down towards turn 6, gets down the inside. Trent Hinman doesn't need a second invitation there. It's not an easy overtake in turn 6 because you're barely braking. He's held on to the inside. That's how you go 2 wide round turn number 7. The driver on the inside has to stay committed, and that makes the driver on the outside, the left-hand side, give you a bit of room. You do not want to be wishy-washy. Cayman is tiny compared to the Aston Martin and is holding on in terms of pace. There was virtually no difference there down the long back straight to turn 10A. And McCann will stay ahead of the red, white and black number 8 of that Volt Racing car as they come out from and into the pit lane for Hinman. So this is the last stop for this car. They're going to do that thing of getting your last stop in early, back out for the Alpha. Now, Roy Block was the only driver who hadn't done his drive dive. So after that damage to the rear suspension and rear tyre, the number 5 car is out again. So Roy Block will have to do a little bit of time before he can hand over, and Trent Hinman is not getting out of the car. He's just tightened his his belts back down. And Shea, Adam, have they got 2 or 4 Michelin tyres for the Volt Racing Aston?
They've got 2 tyres, but they are not new. They are rubber, scrubbed rubber that has been used and then scraped off with that magical heat gun tool that peels off all the little marbles. They are doing left side tyres only, as well as fuel for Trent Hinman. Further down the pit lane, Matt Plum came in. They did fuel and left side tyres for that car as well. And now, appearing on the pit lane, that would be the leader, the 95 Turner Motorsport BMW. Bill Oberlin comes in. Turner boys, they have 2 tyres up on the wall. I believe it's going to be left sides all around for our front-running cars.
Interesting tactic here. And of course, as soon as one car, Jeremy, comes in, everybody else is going to follow because you don't want to get caught the wrong side of a safety car.
Now, Don Salama is the strategist there for Turner Motorsport. He's a former series champion himself, by the way, some years ago. And he's not going to get caught out by that yellow flag. Bring Bill Oberlin in. They can get to the end. 50 minutes, no problem. It's about 47 now to the end of this race, so that's easy on a tank of fuel. Get that stop done. If there is a full caution, the pits would be closed, and that therefore takes that potential headache and problem out of the picture for the race leading car. So he'll lose the lead for now, but all the other guys are going to have to come onto the pit lane as well in GS.
And that will happen in the next lap or 2. Go, go, go for Turner 95. Bill Oberlin is out. Will have lost the lead, of course, to Billy Johnson in the Ford. But, that car, and Mike Skeen as well, in the Mercedes has gone through. So here comes Tyler McQuarrie for Carbon Autosport. That's at Andrew's end of things, so this will be their last stop. And again, is this 2 or 4 Michelins, Andrew?
Right, I'm just getting down to the pits now. It's looking like 2, but as the car comes, I'll be able to monitor that situation. And what a cracking race this has been, John. There's so much incident. Still waiting for the 93. The team are poised. just the 2 tyres, I think it's going to be. They are sticker tyres, and the car just coming down now. And we've got quite a bit of action. A couple of the Mustang just came in as well, but I'm going to stick with the 93. Here he comes on, had a good run. He's right past my toes there. Up it goes on the jacks. The fuel is in. As I said, definitely 2 new left side sticker tyres go on. The raffle guns there, and I think that's going to be a pretty good pit stop for the 3rd place car here, the Peregrine Racing car machine. Still fuel going in to take it to the end. No driver change, and there we go.
Don't understand why, when you have got so much more fuel to go in, you don't go for 4 tyres, Shea Adam.
Well, when you've got the same results as everybody else, that's because you did the exact same thing. When you do something different, you tend to get different results. And that's what the 56 for Morello Racing and the sister car, the 72, have decided to try. 4 sticker tires going on each of these Mercedes. So they saved a little bit from their allotment. 5 sets of tires at the start of the weekend for all the GS cars, 4 sets for all the TCRs. Right now, they've got the right sides changed for the 72, waiting on the left sides, but they are good because they are still waiting on fuel.
Just a note, you'll see the number 11 Capstone Motorsport car coming down the pit lane for Chris Wilson. That was too many people working on the car, so that'll be a drive-through for that machine.
Actually, it was too many people over the wall considered to be working on the car.
Yeah, absolutely
Even though
right.
apparently they weren't doing anything according to that note there.
Right.
But yes.
Let's go back to Tom Dyer, literally just out of the carbon car. Here's Andrew Marriott with him.
Yeah, Tom, that's a good run there. You're right in the hunt.
Yeah, I think it was good for the car of the team. Nice to see the 93 carbon car back up near the front of the field. Tyler's out there doing his thing, and see if we can keep it there and get our first podium of the season. It'd be really nice.
No, I think you had green flag all the way. I mean, we've had lots of incidents in this race, but no yellows.
I'm really surprised. I mean, at some point you'd think there'd be a full course caution, but I don't want to jinx it. I think everybody likes to see good hard racing, and yellows get in the way of that. So if they keep doing what they're doing, put on a good show for everybody, and we'll see how it all shakes out at the end.
In a Porsche, but I'm an old butt, been around. You're a Mazda man. What are you doing here?
Well, it's been a while since I've been in a Mazda. When I did, it was front-wheel drive, so you know it's nice to be in such a great car like the Porsche, and they've done such a fantastic job with this new one. Super competitive, and you know the fun of the series is all the cars are so close and they do it in different ways, and that's what makes it interesting for us and hopefully good for the fans as well.
Excellent. Tom Dyer there, in with a chance of a podium, I reckon.
Yeah, possibly even better. Robert Liddell starts to show towards the front of the field. Justin Piscatel leading. Bill Oberlin, the best of the GS cars, that's done 2 stops for Turner Motorsport in that 95. He's right on the tail of Justin Piscatel now.
And there's a change for the lead. Number 39
in fact, he's just gone by. Yeah.
Number 9, Justin Piscatel hasn't made his final stop.
Correct.
So he's overtaken there by Bill Oberlin. So back into the lead of the race goes number 95 car, and he retains still a pretty handy lead over everybody else.
42.5 minutes to go. Andrew Marriott and Shea Adam down in the pit lane. And it's Jeremy Shaw and John Hindhoff in the Hackney Global Broadcast Centre on the start-finish line here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta at IMSA Radio. Hello to Robert Mitchell. He's been enjoying all of the action today. A couple of good races from Porsche Carrera Cup North America, presented by Visit Cayman Islands. We'll be presenting and honouring the champions tonight, and also the Inimitsu Mazda MX-5 Championship. Those 2 now over. Won't spoil it for you if you want to catch up on that. www.imsaradio.com. Let's take a couple of more interviews. We'll start with Shea Adam.
Down here with a man who has driven himself happy, Jeff Mosing, with the 56. We talked to Eric Voss earlier. The only thing you guys had to come out here and do was do everything you could. That's what you've been doing. Is that the reasoning behind putting 4 new tires on this car, whereas everybody else has put 2 old tires?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you know, hats off to the 7 team in the Aston Martin. They're leading the championship. There's a long chance, you know, for us to do the best that we can. The team has done incredible all year. I'm really, really proud of them. And so, yeah, we've got to throw everything we can at it to try to get into. I believe we have to be first, and they have to be 8th or worse. So, you know, we're going to do what we can. I'm just really, really proud of this Marilla Racing team for doing what they've done all year.
And we've got our first yellow flag of the race. It's down at turn 1, isn't it, John?
I think it's the 33 Hyundai, is the car that is off in the barriers and not going anywhere. Turned in and found a Porsche Cayman on the inside as they were coming through. Pretty high impact. It's the, yeah, definitely the 33. It looks like the number 47 of Nola Sport that was involved as well. That spun to the inside. So that is one of the cars that we were watching coming back through the field. That's Robert Wiggins, who has come to grief on the outside of turn 1. Let's go back down to the pits. If you still got your interviewee, Shea? Oh, Andrew, let's go to Andrew. Sorry, Trevor Andrusco with Andrew.
Yeah, he is. Here's Trevor. Wow, that was a pretty hectic start. You're right in the mix there with the Mercedes.
Yeah, great stint. Car felt really good. Happy to be at a home track. Happy to be here with these guys. These guys have been kicking ass all week, all season. We're happy to be here. We're fast.
And what do you think Mike can do for the rest of the race now? We've got a yellow. It could throw things open a bit.
A little bit off. Throws our strategy a little bit off. Trying to get back a little bit and see what happens here at the end.
Thanks very much.
Thanks to Trevor Andrusco for waiting as well while we clicked our way through what had happened to that incident.
Not sure it does anything to their strategy.
Mike Skeen, yeah, when was he in the
made
pits?
their second stop.
Correct. So, 5th position.
They should be good to go from here. I think no drama for them. The problem is for those of the cars that haven't pitted, which is Justin Piscatel, who's running in 2nd position, Robin Liddell, who's 3rd. I mean, he's shown in the past that Chevy Camaro, that Rebel Rock car, has amazing fuel consumption, but I don't think he can get to the end from here. Even him. Was that number 66 car actually, rather than 47? Or maybe it was 47.
It's a 47 Nola Sport car, and made pretty heavy contact. That's Jason Hart, isn't it, who's driving that. Turn 1's a funny one because it is such another quick entry. Robbie Wiggins out of the car. He's not hurt. He's just been helped to the Cayenne safety vehicle. If you're not aware of Robbie's history, he is needs a little bit of help to get in and out of the car. Amazing job that he does there with hand controls on the machine. Not a great race for Alfa Romeo. Andrew is down with Roy Block, who was right in the fight early on for the championship and this race, but contact brought his race to an early end. The car is back out there trying to turn some laps. Let's hear what Roy's got to say.
Yeah, I'm with the Argentine now. You had a great start to the season, Daytona. What a fantastic event that was for you. But here, we just seem to have incident after incident.
Yeah, no, not the day we wanted. I think we started 10th. I worked my way up to 4th or so, or 3rd, I don't know. We were feeling optimistic. The car was good. And then we had some optimistic contact from a GS car.
Yeah, we did see it, actually. We've had a replay.
You know, it's a lot of optimism out there today in certain turns, but overall in the season, we're very proud of what we've done, being the sole alpha, and hope we get everybody a good show today.
You didn't come into the pits, of course, and then the tyres seemed to go down. What was the thinking there?
I was still turning laps. Obviously, the tires were getting a little bit old, and you know, we were running the race exactly as we planned. Our strategy was working, the pace was there, and then the GS traffic created a lot of issues because they weren't the most accommodating.
And now you're just going to run the laps to the end to get some points.
Look, we're here to race and finish what we started, and we're a small team, but you know, we fight all the big ones, and probably congratulations to Michael and Taylor. They definitely deserve the championship, and I wish them all the best.
A lot of Alpha fans out there, and it's great to have this black and gold car. Are you going to carry on for next season with it?
We will see. I think we did the Alpha brand proud. Can I say something in Spanish?
Yeah, please.
Un abrazo a toda la gente que está mirando, especialmente todos los chicos de Argentina. Un abrazo para vos y espero verlos dentro de poco. Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Hope Shea was listening to that.
Thanking the team. I'm thanking the team.
Yeah,
wasn't
thanking
he?
the team a lot. Yeah.
I did O-level Spanish, actually. I could have translated it a little bit.
He said we're only a little team and we've been fighting hard, and we hope to see that car back next season. As Andrew rightly said, there's a lot of interest in that machine. We're under our first full course yellow. The pits are open for GS. The incident between the Nola Sport car and Robbie Wiggins' Hyundai Elantra has been reviewed. No action from the race stewards. Now this does bring Justin Piscatel right up behind Bill Oberlin, but it doesn't because he's got a pit. And Shea, Adam, you're going to get the Aston Martin and the Camaro into the pit lane right now.
Yeah, and that's why I wasn't paying attention what Roy Block was saying. I was checking in with Rebel Rock because I noticed the number 3 on the side of the Camaro. They said, yeah, but it's not going to last. We have to pit. But we've got stickers, and we're going to put them on. And, hey, it's Robin Liddell. He's run this race for us before, and maybe it'll rain. So they're still optimistic down there at the Camaro camp.
Yeah, the Aston's down here. The bright yellow Volt machine is getting 2 fresh Michelins. Oh, sorry, yeah, this is not the Volt machine, because this is the Pistel car. And anyway, it's got 2 cars, the accelerating car, and it's at number 39. And fuel still going in on the side. No driver change. And now it's going to go out. It's still a bit more fuel. It's got the lock on to turn it out. Can only just squeeze out, actually, but he's just made it by an inch, and out he goes.
And that was the other Aston Martin, the 09, still a car care car. The machine sitting in front of it. 4 sticker tyres for Robin Liddell and 4 stickers that would be in the Camaro, 4 stickers for Owen Trinkler in the Team TGM machine, as well as in Jeremy for the Murillo 65 car.
Number 65 car, yes, that's Brent Mosing and Tim Probert. Brent is Jeff Mosing's brother. Tim Probert's originally from England, lives in Texas nowadays, been over here for a long, long time. They've done a super job this season. They've been always consistent, running in the top sort of at least 14 or 15 or so, but Tim qualified 5th a little bit earlier in the season. A remarkable performance to put that car on the grid, and yeah, they've had a really good year, and they're leading the bronze category here today, particularly with some that penalty earlier on for number 11 car, dropped them back a little bit farther down the field, but another good run for Brent Mosing and Tim Probert.
Pits are open for TCR.
TCR's next time round. Yeah. And by the way, just right in moments before the caution came out, the number 877 came into the pits to make its pit stop. So it's going to be ahead now of the number 39 and 71, which he was just behind them before we went to full course caution and the pits were closed. So 55 laps now in the books. We've got 32 minutes remaining in this race. It'll be a few more laps before we go back to green, because the TCRs will be allowed to make their pit stops this time. I'm not sure there's going to be many takers actually for TCR. Most of them have made what should have been what would be their final stop. So I'm not even sure. Yeah, we're going to see a couple of minutes, including the race leader. I think was that Ryan Eversley ducking down into the pit lane? Yes, it was. In fact, the first 3 cars all onto the pit lane.
Really?
Wow.
Eversley, Maxon and Whitmer all into the pit lane. Let's keep an eye on that then. Ryan Eversley in the blue and white FK7 Honda. So are they going to stick her up? They're going for some more fuel. Stick her up on the front? Yes. right front getting sticker tyres, left front getting sticker tyre on that Honda. And Shea Adam is watching the Hyundai number 99.
For VG RT Racing
Sorry,
Team.
the Honda.
The Honda, yes. This one has gotten 2 podiums so far on the season, including a win. They had to push it back a bit to try and get the fuel thrown back in, but Carl Whitmer gets going again. The first of any of the cars to rejoin the track. Now, Michael Lewis actually just now hitting his marks in that pit box. That will be fuel only for the championship leading number 1. The next car out on the pit lane is the Alpha, but we don't really need to pay attention to that because he's so far down. Big lockup from the second place Hyundai trying to exit the pits. No, it's white smoke coming out of that car. I can't tell which one it is, but the number 54 has just had its pit stop done as well. That was new tires for Steven Simpson, front tires, as well as fuel. So watch out for Steven. He's been very quick so far on the season, and they are looking to move up the championship, particularly at the expense of their team car, which is the reason for this yellow.
Thank you, Shea. Pit stops can often be... Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. That is an ill-fitting front right tyre on that Hyundai number 77. That is a big, big issue for Tyler Maxson and Brian Hurd at Autosport. It's rubbing up against the wheel arch, which suggests to me that there was either some damage or the front wheel hasn't gone on properly onto the locating pins there, Jeremy.
Well, there certainly seemed to have been some damage, I think, to the right front corner on that car, which is unfortunate for them because they've had a good, strong end to the season. They were fast in the early stages. We talked about it earlier on, had 4 poles in the first 6 races. They didn't get the results in the first part of the season, but they've had a couple of podiums recently, and we're running in 2nd position before they made this this final pit stop.
It's been a good fight back by the number 1 car. They had huge out lap for it's Michael Lewis, isn't it, behind the wheel of that number 1 now, really throwing the car through turn 5, trying to get some energy in the rear tyres. Hearing now there may have been contact in the pit lane between the 77, Brian Hurd at Autosport, and Tyler Maxson, and another car.
Well, the damage was on the front of that car, so maybe he hit the back of the 73, which was the leader. They were the first 2 cars. 73 was leading, 77 was second as they came into the pit lane.
Well, hearing from the pit lane, it might have been contact with the 5, the Alpha, whilst they were in pit lane.
Oh, that was it. Okay, that's many laps down. Okay.
Pit officials are discussing that at the moment. There is a wave by for the Alpha, getting one of its many laps down. Meantime, back into the pit lane, Owen Trinkler for Team TGM.
He's a lap behind,
right?
For him.
So that's not significant. They're taking wing out of that car. Try and give a bit more speed to that machine. Problems earlier on for the 96 Turner Motorsports car, Robbie Foley. That wing adjustment still going on for TGR. There's been a bit of wing being put in, actually. Find out from our pit lane team. So coming down to under half an hour, 28 minutes to go, and this wave by continues. Through goes the Alfa Giulietta. Very surprised nobody's done an Alfa Giulia TCR car. Might be a little bit too large. 4-door car. We have seen 4-door TCR cars in the past with a sort of sedan look to it, with the Audi, of course, the RS3. And depending on who you talk to, it may be an aerodynamic advantage to have a little bit of a boot line, a trunk line on those cars. Cleans the air up around from the rear window and down across the rear wing.
17 cars then on the lead lap in GS. The last of those is Joey Hand.
Is
in
that
the number
Toyota?
40.
Sorry, Sherman.
Number 40, you must say that one last time out at VIR with James Pezek. That car's got some work. Joey's got some work to do here, but that car didn't have a penalty early on in this race. Or something went wrong.
Yes, they ran over the pit equipment.
Yeah,
so.
there you go. So,
is that Toyota Riley Toyota in 4th position?
Yeah,
That's a genuine position for that car.
Oh, absolutely it is, yes. Yeah, no, they had a good first stint. Alfredo Nagy was running in a top, 5,
back to grade.
6th or 7th. There you go.
Across the line. And Bill Oberlin with Bill
26
Johnson, Billy
minutes to
Johnson
go.
right with him. Big slide there for that Toyota. Some lap cars in there, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Which didn't get the wave by, of course, because they had been lapped. Genuinely.
Yeah, number 66 car, that's Alec Udell. He's fast. Christian Schimjack in number 72 Mercedes, he's also fast. Both of those two cars are lapped down. Also Spencer Pumpelli's in that mix as well, number 83 car. Where's he? A little bit further down the order, perhaps.
Yeah, he's right behind Chris Wilson.
Yeah.
So the two leaders, then it is Mike Skeen who's having a battle. So the Porsche third on the road through turn 7 is a lapped car. The black, white and blue car is the third place car, and then the cars behind are in order to, well, most of the way back anyway. 77 and 5 under review. So it was the 5 car that was hit by the Hyundai. So the Alpha hit by the Hyundai. Well, at least those two coming together. And that is being looked at by the officials. More drafting down the back straight. And the number 99, Victor Gonzalez racing car was providing a hole in the air for one of the AMG GTs, who themselves are in a battle with Team TGM. So that's Eric Voss and Matt Plum as they're working their way through traffic and off. Two TGMs, the Bellegarde, two TCRs, the Bellegarde Technical car, and the 73 LA Honda World of Ryan Eversley.
Yeah, they were third and fourth at the restart, those two.
They're both going to have to come in, Jeremy. They've got grass in the grills.
Yeah, wow.
They just seemed to run out of road as they were coming up. In fact, they touched the back of Matt Plum's car. That was the problem. They were catching up the GS cars and trying to stay out of the way. Improper final wave by procedure for the car 5, stop and 3 minutes. They've also got to drive through for incident responsibility with the 77. There was a lot of bumping between the number 15 Audi and Denis Dupont for Bellegarde Technical on the back of that TGM Porsche. And pit lane protocol. So the other car involved in that coming together, pit lane penalty protocol violation. So the 77 in second place in TCR has a drive-through as well. Man, this has been busy for the stewards. Having a great battle at the moment for 4th and 5th position. The Riley Motorsports GR Supra and the Volt Racing Aston Martin. And Andrew is down with the driver who started that Supra.
Yes, Alfredo down here with me. Wow, you're up to 4th or 5th place. Great battle going on. The Toyota's really working well here.
Yeah, for sure, especially after, you know, the last 3-4 races. We had some bad luck coming into the races, but looking good today. Let's see what happens in the next 20 minutes.
When did you move to America to start racing?
Well, I'm still living in Dominican Republic, so I do fly up for every race. But last year was my first year in IMSA, and this is my second. Hopefully next year will be my third.
You haven't got a racetrack in the Dominican Republic, have you?
Yeah, we have a local track, but it's a small sprint style. Nothing endurance or as big as this.
Well, that's very good. Great to see you having a good run with the Toyota, and Bill Riley's down here monitoring everything as well. Thanks very much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So 77 taking its drive through for improper pit lanes procedure. The car that apparently there was some coming together with is in the pit lane as well. That's the number 5 Alpha. They're well off the pace. Improper final wave by, stop in 3 minutes. So that is 2 laps, isn't it, pretty much, that you've been penalised. The Bellegarde Technical number 15 Audi that went grass tracking. Shea Adam is in the pit lane with you.
That car is currently being serviced by the starting driver, Eric Rockwell, son of Alex. It is Bellegarde Technical are the Rockwell father and son duo. And Eric is the one who just pulled all the grass out of the radiator, out of the front of this car. They just put new rear tires on it. Unfortunately, Eric left all of the grass from the front of the car right in front of the car. And there is such a large pile that as Denis Dupont, oh, there we go, the splitter just cleared it. Now he heads back out on the track. But that is a new role being served by a starting driver, i.e. I'm going to clean out the grill, make sure my engine doesn't blow up.
Yeah, seems reasonable. Good teamwork. Trent Hinman on a charge still, trying to catch the back of the Riley Motorsports Toyota. It's the battle for now 4th and 5th overall.
And the other Riley car is actually a Mercedes. That's Scott Andrews at the wheel of the number 21 car. That's the car that had a penalty earlier on with an instant responsibility. He took the restart in in 12th place because a few cars made pit stops. He's now up inside the top 10. Watch out for Scott Andrews in that car number 21. He's super fast. I think he was quickest in the second practice session yesterday. So that number 21 car quite likely on a charge here. They had a good result at the end of the season last year as well, and looking to do so here today. Meanwhile, up front, Bill Auburn just stretched his lead just a little bit over Billy Johnson in second place.
20 minutes to go, Jeremy. It's been shaken up again with that drive-through penalty for the number 77 Hyundai in TCR. So Victor Gonzalez Honda leads by about a second and a half. And now Stephen Simpson is behind the wheel of the number 54, Michael Johnson racing car. He's in second. He's got a second gap back to Ryan Norman for the number 2 Herta Autosport Hyundai. Then it's the number 1 car, which got themselves all in a bit of a tizzy early on. Came in, they thought they were going to get a full course yellow. They did, effectively had to serve a green flag drive-through. Have worked their way back into 4th. Now, with the Alpha having its problems, are they still on for the championship, that number 1 car?
Oh yeah, they're going to win the championship now for sure. Yeah, with the problems for the Alpha, they came in with a 100-point lead, and they're going to finish in the top 4 again. For that number 1 team. They've had a really super season. They had just a one poor finish. That was at Watkins Glen, where they had a penalty there because they didn't meet the minimum drive time, I think it was. But other than that, they finished in the top 5 in every single race this season. Just the one win last time out at VIR, but it's been a tremendous season for Taylor Hagler and Michael Lewis. And yeah, the championship now pretty much in the bag.
My question is now, who's going to finish second in this TCR championship? And Michael Johnson, it's looking good for you and Stephen Simpson in the 54 machine. Stephen, though, is looking for bigger things. He's looking for a win here today. How much would that mean to you both?
Oh, that'd be amazing. We've been working so hard throughout the season. All our hard work hopefully will pay off, and big things will come in the future.
This track has a history of a motorcycle track as well. Do you enjoy racing here a little bit more because it tethers back to your other roots?
Yeah, I mean, I've been here before on 2 wheels, and now I'm here in 4, and it brings back memories that are good memories, and I'm loving to be at the racetrack. This is my home.
Is it nerve-wracking with Stephen out there on the track? I mean, you don't have a radio on, you don't have a TV, you're just trying to concentrate on the cars going around?
Yeah, I'm just letting him do his thing. He knows what he's doing, and I trust him 100%.
Good luck, Michael.
All right, thank you.
And for those of you not familiar, Michael Johnson he's paralyzed from the shoulders down. Just a remarkable story. Robbie Wickens, of course, also paralyzed from the chest down. Robbie at least has some sort of feeling in his lower body. Michael has absolutely none. And you generally start as a race driver, you say you kind of drive by the seat of the pants when he can't feel the seat of his pants. Which is why it's always difficult for Michael in the early stages of the race really to get a feel for the car. But it is tremendous speed, and he does just an amazing job. He's such an inspiration. Both of those two, of course, Robbie Wickens and Michael Johnson, are great characters, and they're tremendous for the sport. It's just what you can do if you put your mind to it. He's been driving for hand controls now, Michael, for a long time.
Well,
he was a teenager when he had that motorcycle crash. Yeah, you're absolutely right, yes.
They went through a few different cars down through the years, remember, with BMWs and various other things, trying to get the system to work consistently. The difference between hand controls on a street car and hand controls on a race car, and what they've got to do, and the feel that you've got to be able to do, and how you can feel the brake pressure, etc., massively different. In fact, the system that they've come up with now is so good. I think it's the same system that Robbie Wickens uses, Jeremy, isn't it?
Yeah, they've developed a new one there at Brown Herta Autosport. Yeah, with David Brown is one of the engineers there at Brown Herta Autosport who's developed that new system for that team. Jonathan Gormley as well is the other engineer who's been involved in that process of the car for Brown Herta Autosport and Robbie Wickens. Tremendous job they've done.
Yeah, well, some of the early work on that was done, of course, by the great Formula One Ferrari driver Clay Regazzoni. Remember, he was paralysed in the Formula One accident at Long Beach, and he did a lot of the very early development, but I think they've moved it to a very new sphere now. And of course, let's not forget one of the bravest men I've ever met, Alex Zanardi, who also used hand controls. And you know, Alex had this huge bicycle accident not so long ago and still recovering from that. But these men are all inspirations, as you said, Jeremy.
Totally agree. Most of us would find it difficult to get the race car around the track anywhere near a competitive speed, and they're doing it having retuned their sensors. And the words differently abled never been better and more appropriate than for those drivers.
Position gain there for car number 21. Scott Andrews got past Matt Plum on that last lap, so up into 8th place now. And the battle for second, Billy Johnson losing a little bit of ground now to Bill Oberlin, who's super consistent in the lead of this race. Low minute, 1 minute 27s, all the way just a couple of tenths on that last lap, but he's got his mirrors full of Mike Skeen in that number 55 FCP Euro Mercedes. Right behind him is the car number 72. That car is a lap down for Christian Schimjack, but he's fast and he's hanging right with that second and third place battle. And right behind him is Alec Udell, who's also a lap down in car number 66. And then just a short gap back to Thiago Camilo in 4th, who's battling ahead of Trent Hindman and Eric Foss right there as well.
I'm reminded, and thank you to Neil Hudson, who is the all-seeing and all-knowing touring car guru, that there is actually an Alpha Giulia, although it's an electric TCR car. So there is a TCR Giulia, it's got a different power unit. I suspect the problem is that they would have to change the engine configuration on that, because that is a rear drive V6 or inline 4, and of course, slipping my mind for a moment was that TCRs have to be front-wheel drive cars. You cannot have a rear drive car. So that is probably why. Though there is a 4-wheel drive Giulia, which normally in regulations, if you have 4-wheel drives, you used to be able to pick which wheels were the driven wheels. So if you've got 4-wheel drive, can you have a front-wheel drive? Question. I think the problem is it's the inline engine rather than that. Transverse would normally be what you'd expect on a front drive car. Question for another day, maybe. With 13.5 minutes to go, the top of the GS category, Bill Oberlin and Billy Johnson, with Mike Skeen in 3rd position. 4th is that number 14, the Riley Motorsports car, Thiago Camillo, having one of that car's best run ever. A couple of them in the championship, run by Riley, now down to just the one. Good to hear that they are thinking of coming back next year, Alfredo Nagri.
Yeah.
It's nice to have the variety, Jeremy. We've said this before.
It is, it's great. I mean, the order now, it's BMW, Ford, Mercedes, Toyota, Aston Martin. So 5 different cars filling the top 5 positions right now in TCR. Carl Whitmer has about a second or so in hand over the 2 Brian Herter with Kerbag Gajanian Hyundai Elantras, where they've changed positions a couple of laps ago. Number 2 car, they're diving past Stephen Simpson. So number 2, former series champion and former Indy Lights driver Ryan Norman, now up into 2nd position ahead of Stephen Simpson. And then a couple of seconds back to Michael Lewis, who's looking to get yet another 4th place, or another top 4 finish for that number 1 team, and wrap up this 2nd consecutive championship for himself and Taylor Hagler.
Yeah, that doesn't happen often. Repeat championships in this championship and its forerunners. Very difficult to do because of the depth of competition within both of the classes. So the number 99, Victor Gonzalez, Carl Whitmer driven FK7 TCR. New car coming. for that car. New body design, the FK8. Rather traditionally, as we move on. The car already available as a street car. They've been working on the TCR version of the car, and we'll see that in the championship next year. The BMW looking like it might sign out with a victory as well. There's a new GT4 BMW coming, the new body shell. So Turner Motorsports trying to take that car out on a high as well. It's a season of farewells in some respects in IMSA, with the DPIs signing off tomorrow. Let's not forget that big race tomorrow. Warm up in the morning around 9 o'clock, and then the whole race live here on IMSA Radio and IMSA TV. Another off-track moment for a Hyundai, this time the number 2 car.
The second place car.
AJ Muss and Ryan Norman. And that car has not made it any further around the circuit. So that car has pulled off. So Ryan Norman out of the race. Stephen Simpson will move up as a place battle goes over the top. The FCP Euro Riley Motorsports Volt Racing battle continuing, and involved in that now, Billy Johnson, who has just been passed then by that FCP Euro car with the multicoloured stripes down the middle of that white Mustang. He's struggling for grip there, Jeremy.
Yeah, he is.
Really struggling for grip with 10 minutes to go.
Really, and Christian Shimjak, though, he's probably maybe going to go past. He's still lapped down that orange and blue car heading around turn 6 right now, but close behind them is Thiago Camilo and Eric Foss. And closing on Eric Foss is Scott Andrews. He's made up another couple of positions in the last few laps. Also, Robin Liddell has made up a position as well in the Camaro. But the guy to watch here really is number 21, Scott Andrews. He is charging in that number 21 Mercedes. His last lap time was 3/4 of a second quicker than the race leader, and he was the only guy in the 1:26s. Everybody else doing mid-27s.
Now Liddell has got past Tyler McQuarrie. He's got 4 seconds of a gap between himself and Scott Andrews. So let's see what he can do with a bit of clear run and 4 new Michelin tyres, remember, on that car when it was brought in from the 3rd place. They just didn't get their pit stop done before the yellow flag came out. We're down to the last 9 minutes. Turner by 4.2 seconds now from AMG and FCP Euro. The Mike Skeen driven number 55 car trying to chase them down at the moment. The Rika Autosport machine. Trevor Andrusko did his bit early on. Then it's Billy Johnson losing positions now, struggling. 28.7 last time around for the Core Motorsport Mustang. Then Camillo in the Riley Motorsports Supra. Just looking down, the first non-front engined car is 9th position, which is the first of the Porsches. So this is looking again to be a front engine car track. 7 3/4 minutes to go. Here comes Bill Oberlin. Bill Power, as the guys at BMW call him. What a career he's had for the brand from Munich. Not sure he's actually driven any other brand in major competition.
For a long time.
Yeah, not for... How many did we clocked him up over 500 races?
Just drive Porsches.
Yeah, that's a long time ago, though, Jeremy.
A long time ago, yeah.
I think we clocked him up over 500 races for BMW.
600, I think it was.
600, was it? And that was a season or 2 ago, wasn't it?
Another position gain there for Scott Andrews. He's got past on that lap, but Eric Foss now up into 6th position in that car, number 21. Got Trent Hinman right ahead of him as well, and then Thiago Camilo in that number 14 Riley Motorsports Toyota.
Yeah, now has Billy Johnson find a way to drive that Ford, because he's not losing any more ground on the 55 of Mike Skeen, which is that FCP Euro car ahead. There's a whole gaggle of TCR cars ahead, and that's a mix of cars who are fighting, some who are laps down. Remember, the number 72 is not on the pace in terms of that Mustang, so we'll have to be a little bit careful that they don't affect that. It's Kenny Murillo in that car now. Christian Shimchak started that car. See if we can pick out where the leader is. Just going through turn 1 now. And heading up over the top of the rise. Got a decent gap before he hits anybody. Gaps come down to 3.8 seconds. 3/10 taken out the leader last time around by Mike Skeen. That's not enough. Robin Liddell has charged up to the back of Murillo Racing's Eric Voss and is now under 2 seconds away from him. And that means that he's only 2.7 seconds away from Scott Andrews. No, even less than that, actually. And that was 4 seconds not so very long ago. So Liddell and Andrews moving forward, but time is not their friend at the moment with just 5 minutes to go. But they've got grip and pace. Scott Andrews at 27 flat last time around. And Robin Liddell at 27.5. Trent Hinman at 27.3. He's found a bit of pace as well. He's right on the back of Camillo now. Camillo, Hinman and Andrews battling for 4th place, 2 seconds behind Billy Johnson. Down the inside on Hinman. That's a great move by Scott Andrews in the blue, number 21. So Hinman now with Eric Voss right behind him, and Robin Liddell's coming as well, like a steam train in the Camaro. This is not all over for the minor placings. Andrews has a chance. I think Andrews still probably has a chance of a podium here. Yeah. He's only a couple of seconds behind Billy Johnson, but he's got to get rid of the Riley Motorsports Toyota, nominally a teammate, at least run by the same company. So out of the same awnings, Oberlin by 4.3 seconds. We need your Michelin moments of the race as well. Shea, start thinking about that quickly. Nick Damon and Andrew as well. One for each class, please. TCR and GS. Does not have to be the winner, and it could be a team award rather than a single driver.
A vote for Victor Gonzalez Racing Team. They've led a whole bunch of races this season. They've had some strategies that haven't worked out, but they're out front right now and looking pretty good. A couple of seconds in hand for Carl Whitmer over Stephen Simpson. This would be that team's first win, and it would be very well deserved. For GS, I'm going to go for car number 21.
Scott Andrews and Riley Motorsports. I'll throw the 54 of Stephen Simpson and Michael Johnson into that. They've kept their noses clean. Might not win this, but they're going to be having a good win. And for GS, that's a tough one for me. I'm going to say the FCP Euro team, actually, because they've quietly gone about their work today, stayed out of trouble. Shea Adam, what do you reckon?
I'll go for the obvious one here. Turner Motorsport, they came in yesterday, did pole position in a very abbreviated session, led most of the race, and now Bill Oberlin checking out, trying to give the M4 GT4 car the send-off that they can.
And in TCR?
TCR, I agree with you, John. It's got to be the 54 for Michael Johnson and Stephen Simpson, not only for this race, but for all season and potentially to finish second in the championship. That's massive.
It's also been a good drive back by the #1 Brian Herter Autosport team as well after their early problems. Andrew, what do you reckon?
Well, I'm going with Shea, with Billy Oberlin. You know, he's been racing for so long, so experienced, and he's still, I think, a winner. And, you know, TCR, I'm going to go for Rob Wickens. I just think it's such a brave effort. And, you know, that car's gone so well today.
Fortunately, ended rather early. Nick is not here at the moment, but he might have a casting vote. We'll have that for you within the next couple of minutes. Lap or so to go in the Fox Factory 120, the final round of the Michelin Pilot Challenge. down towards the last knockings here, and still battles going on between the Hyundais, Simpson and Lewis, pretty much together. Yeah. That is the 54, the number 1. Similar looking cars, a little more red on the number 54 car. That's the second place machine, and here comes Lewis. He's got a draft on the back straight. There may not be many more opportunities. Little bit of a drag of a break there. He doesn't want to go through too early. Still in the draft, coming down the hill, or maybe he doesn't want to show his hand too early. It's down towards turn 10 for the number 99. It'll be white flag for the leader, Bill Oberlin, next time around, but not for these cars. They've got this lap and one more to come. White flag is in hand. There goes Gonzalez across the line. Oh, excuse me, Carl Whitmer across the line for Victor Gonzalez Motorsport, then Simpson, then Lewis. All of those 3 cars, I would think, and teams in with a shout of the Michelin moment of the race. Through comes Turner. Now this is the car coming onto its last lap. Day of split feelings for Turner, with the car that was in with a chance of the championship going out very early indeed. And Bill Oberlin starts the last 2.5 competitive miles for this iteration of the BMW M4 GT4. Mike Skeen 3.6 seconds behind, then Bill Johnson holding on to 3rd position ahead of Camillo Andros, who's right there though, and is Eric Foss and Robert Liddell right there too. So there's 3 or 4 cars within a couple of seconds there for the last spot on the podium. Now, this is not the final lap for the TCR cars. The 2 Hyundais, there are 2 Hyundais there, I promise you, you can barely see them as they're coming down. This is their penultimate time into turn 10A, and still Mike Lewis doesn't go through. The championship is beckoning for that number 1 car, and they're catching the Honda.
Yeah.
This is not over yet. Through to start their final 2.5 miles. And is the Alpha and the we've got a Technic Seal car going to come and play as well, with newer tyres than the 3 that are battling at the sharp end of the field. BMW, Bill Oberlin, the number 95 car, coming through to take the victory. Dylan McAvern did his job in qualifying at the start of the race, and the car is given a great send-off. It's a win in GS and overall for Oberlin and McAvern, and for Turner Motorsports. It'll be taco time tonight across the line in 6th place for Trent Hinman and Alan Brynjolfsson. That should give them the well-deserved championship that they've been hunting for such a long time. Michelin moment of the race in GS going to Turner Motorsport for taking off that car in its final run. That was the most votes, and here's the TCR battle. This is definitely not over. All 3 cars coming down to turn number 10. Defensive move thrown by Steven Simpson. Victor Gonzalez's team is just about going to hold on. Gets a little nudge. 3 together under the Fox Factory Bridge. Well beyond the 2 hours of drama we asked for. And through to the line. VG. Very good for Victor Gonzalez. They take the win. They go bonkers on the pit wall. And we're giving them the moment of the race as well. So unusually it's the 2 winners. But they've gone about their job very well indeed. Carl Whitmer taking over from Victor Gonzalez. And in TCR, 3rd place on the podium for Michael Lewis and for Taylor Hagler. The California and Texas-based drivers defend their championship in TCR. Hard enough to win one, double hard to defend. Let's go to Shea Adam in the pit lane.
I'm with our 2022 champions, Volt Racing, Alan Brynjolfsson and Trent Hinman, getting the job done. And for Alan, this is a long time coming. He spent a long time waiting for this moment. Alan, congratulations, you are GS champion. How good does this feel?
Oh my God, we've been working at this for 6 years, so it's just quite a journey, and it's just incredible to have that finally come through. So I'm so excited.
Big sigh of relief when you got out of the car, handed it over to Trent. You knew that he was going to do his job.
But yeah, I did. But you know, racing's racing, so you never know till the checker. So.
Well, the checker came out. You're the champ. Congratulations.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
And just to confirm then, the championship for them and for the number 1 Hyundai. And in the TCR category, a win for Victor Gonzalez Racing, but it's a defense of the championship for the number 1 Hyundai, and Taylor Hagler is with Shea Adam.
Taylor, you can finally breathe again. 2 times the TCR champion, the first repeat champion in this category. How good does it feel to have that race behind you now? It's official.
Honestly, to have that one behind me is really great because that was pretty hit and miss. It was a really sketchy race. A lot happened, and it wasn't looking great there for a while, but I just put my head down, did what I could, got where I could, and gave the car to Michael, and we got kind of lucky with the yellow that we did, and Michael was able to make up some positions with that. And then we came in and did a 4-tire stop, which Michael does what he does, and he got it up there, and we ended up on a podium. And I was actually just telling the team that this is the only racetrack in the IMSA season that I don't have a trophy from. So to be able to get a trophy here, which is where this all started, it's great.
That's wonderful. What was it that happened in the beginning of the race? I have to ask.
What happened at the beginning of the race is I got T-boned by another competitor. And that kind of caused some issues, and then we had some miscommunication in the pit lane, and I thought my team wanted me to come in, and they mistook me for another car. It was just a whole thing, especially with the radios getting pretty staticky over in the backs. I thought maybe I missed a call, so I just did a drive-through, and then we just kind of worked from there, but everything worked out in the end, and never over till it's over. Congrats.
Billy, yeah, another win for BMW. You can keep doing it.
Yeah, I mean, when it's this good to drive, this BMW M4 GT4 was on rails, unbelievable. The guys at Turner have given us amazing cars year after year after year. It makes it look, I mean, all I can do is screw up. That's how good this car is. If you look at Dylan, did an amazing job. He's been an incredible teammate all year. He put it on the pole. My job was just don't screw it up, bring this thing home, give it the win it deserves. This is its swan song. It's going out. This is its last race, so we'll never see this poor car on the track here, but always next year.
I wonder if Mr. Turner might give you this car.
All right, that's a great idea. I like that. He should totally give us this car. This car has been, if ever anybody wants to drive this car, they can go to the BMW car clubs and drive this exact BMW GT4, and you'll have no experience, and it drives like it drives incredible.
Stuff.
Everybody wants that Cinderella ending, but man, sometimes
I'm sure he was. I'm absolutely sure he was. It'll be tackles for the Turner guys. That's how they celebrate victory. 21 years ago, BMW won at Petit Le Mans in the old M3, the Stars and Stripes car. And once certain Hans Stuck was the teammate for Bill Oberlin then, and Bill still winning at Road Atlanta. All right, not in the feature race, but my goodness, what a championship he has. Let's go down to Carl Whitmer, who's with Andrew.
Yeah, if I can push my way through lots of photographers and lots of high-fiving going on with the team. Carl, hello. And he's now embracing Mr. Bybendham, the big Michelin blow-up man. What a race for you, man.
What a bold strategy. I mean, we stayed on used tires for an hour and a half. I didn't think I had it, but the management played well. The team was communicating flawlessly, and without the help of Honda HPD and VGRT, we wouldn't be on the top step this weekend. So awesome job to them, kudos to them, and that was great.
And I think this Honda's not going to be racing again, is it?
Yeah, we'll be back.
Oh, we thought there was a new model coming.
No, well, it will be in due time.
And a word for Victor as well.
Yeah, Victor's been unbelievable. He had such a strong drive, and it's easy when your co-driver gives me the car in one piece, so I get to put my head down, do my job, so awesome job.
So, yeah, another Whitmer takes a championship. Well, takes a win.
Yeah, well, takes a win, yeah, but those points were important, Jeremy, for the Victor Gonzalez Racing team.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, they've had a really good season. They've had some, well, they have some ups and downs certainly, but with the win today, that'll move them up a couple of positions in the points table, because that's the second win of the season for that team. And in the points, Taylor Hagler and Michael Lewis, they will win the championship on 29.20. Roy Block and Tim Lewis in the Alpha, they'll remain in second position. But Michael Johnson and Stephen Simpson will move up to third on 26.50. Behind them will be Victor Gonzalez on 25.80, the same points tally as Parker Chase and Harry Gottsacker, but the tiebreaker goes for 2 wins for the Victor Gonzalez, so hats off to him for getting that 4th place in the points. The second win of the season also, of course, for Honda.
Let's hear from Dylan McAvern, who started it all off for Turner Motorsport with the qualifying and the first stint. Andrew Marriott is with him now.
Yeah, Dylan. Well, you were the other half of this great success for Turner. Well done. First stint, outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really great honor to be part of the Turner Motorsports organization. These guys work so hard for us, and it's really cool to be able to bring them a win after a little bit of a rocky season. These guys really deserve it. Bill always does a great job, and the car was just a pleasure to drive today. I mean, that was really, really fun out there. So looking forward to what the future holds for us, but that was really cool to end the season on a great note.
Bill, 21 years ago, Hans stuck in you. What did he do here?
Well, wait, say that again. I'm
21 years ago, you drove with a hand stuck in a BMW with a win here.
Oh, did I? Oh, that's awesome. I mean, Hans is a hero of mine, so now Dylan is my hero, my teammate. I mean, what can you say? I'm a tiny cog in this beautiful Turner wheel, right? And my guys, my crew, my girls on my crew, Dylan, my co-driver, and Will Turner and all the guys, I can't thank them enough for all they do. All the hard work is on them. And
thanks very much. Great words from Bill.
Andrew Marriott, Nick Damon and Shea Adam were down in the pit lane. It was Jeremy Shaw alongside me, John Hindhaugh, in the Haggerty Global Broadcast Centre.
Just very quickly, the points then in GS, obviously the win for Brynjolfsson and Hinman, second position for Eric Foss. With the win today, Bill Oblin and Dylan McAvern will vote from 6th to 3rd.
Wow.
Perhaps just as significantly, or maybe even more, for the manufacturers. With the second place finish today for Mike Skeen, Mercedes will move ahead of Aston Martin and take the championship at the last gasp. They came in just behind Aston Martin, but will leave with the championship, at least unofficially at this stage.
Wow, okay, so that was a big change around at the end. Jeremy, it's been a fantastic season of Michelin Pilot Challenge in the Fox Factory 120. Not completely green, but gave us plenty of good racing. There's been a lot of highlights. Have you enjoyed the season?
Absolutely, it's been fantastic and a great end of the season. I mean, just the one, a couple of cautions maybe there were towards the end. No, just the one, wasn't there? Great race all the way through. Some exciting action. Hats off to race control. There were nearly a few other cautions. They kept it clean and green and a really good race.
Which works. 4 hours at Daytona. As part of the Rolex 24 next January is when we'll see those cars, drivers and teams back on the track. Thank you to our hard-working production team at Charlotte and here at the circuit, particularly our camera operators and our techs, and for everyone who's taken part in the Michelin Pilot Challenge on the broadcast side for IMSA Radio right through the season. It's been brilliant. Thanks for joining us. We've got more action to come from this weekend, but that has been the 2022 Michelin Pilot Challenge. Thanks for joining us. See you at the Rolex 24. Bye-bye.